So it begins. Yet another season of another epic master circuit starts now. And we are here to bring you all of the action throughout the entirety of your Saturday, whether you're watching from Canada, like our friend Girl who's joining me on broadcast, or whether you're in the United States or even in Europe. We welcome you. We are excited to watch this action, to kick it off with Europe here in today for our Season 3 beginning. My name is Rain Day. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. It's been a great week for competitive Apex, and Girl, our incredible Predator, congratulations on hitting that again, and also just the expertise we've had watching every single one of these master circuits together. It's great to start a new year with you.
Absolutely, and watching a new map as well. All of these players are going to be competing on a brand new map. Never been really done before except once or twice. I actually played in a competitive community duos tournament on Broken Moon, and it is so much fun, but it's tough to get used to because it's just so new.
We'll have to figure out the intricacies of what makes this map different from the others that you might have experienced in Apex Legends, but let's talk about what makes this format and this style of tournament similar to the ones that you might have watched this week, as, of course, the ALGS and many other community tournaments have kicked off. But PlayStation claims today for Saturday, baby. We've got our trios coming in for our wildcards qualifiers. As we usually do, we have up to 20 teams. Should have close to that number. We have the teams actually qualifying and playing into today just a few hours ago. So we've got results from them. They have made it here. We're going to play 5 games now for each region to determine who will be the best. It's all going to be on Broken Moon, Girl, and it's all going to come down to how well you play and how each game you're able to dominate.
Yeah, and with the choke points on this map, it's going to be hard to get that first place, but first place, if you don't know already, is 12 points. Second place is 9 points. The higher you place, the more points you get, and if you die off early, you get 0 points for placement. Each elimination, although, is 1 point, so if you're a tough fighting team and you want to get your points that way, go for it and slay out. Have a good day today.
I love it. That's all you got to do. You just got to make sure you get the game going your way, and if you can do that more often than not, you're going to be in a good position to take some major points and end up in a good spot for this, the prizing. First place going to grab $600 today. Second will follow along with $300. Third and fourth round that out with $150. And 5th through 10th, still something on the line for them because they will guarantee a spot in our seasonal final. First and fourth, they'll also get a spot in seasonal final, but just want to make sure that you know if you hit top 10 today, that's the big number. And speaking of top 10, you're going to have to beat through these 20 teams or 19 other teams if you are one of them to make it there. And of course, that includes dominant performances from people like Viper Squadron and We Don't Play, Girl.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't believe I see a Baguette LF, our winners of our last tournament, so they're not going to be here today. PMN might be a new version of PMB. They ended up getting second. I'm not 100% sure on that, but a lot of familiar faces. We Don't Play, as you said. RGB, Jamil has been doing well in quals. I know We Don't Play and Hakeem's have been doing well in their quals as well. So super excited to see
TXE.
them play on this new map. Yes, TXE is back.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of stories here, Girl, that we're going to be able to dive into today. It'll be fun. And if you're new and you're joining us, you saw our tweets, or you're just browsing Twitch or YouTube, thank you. Welcome. It's going to be a fun day. Trust me, we're going to get into the action very, very soon. Game 1 is coming up, but I want to let you know, if you're watching, how does this all happen? How did it unfold? Where did it begin? It all started at a place called compete.playstation.com. That's where all of your tournament needs for PlayStation can get handled, and you can get involved in PlayStation esports, allowing you to really pick and choose how you, maybe as a casual but competitive casual player, want to take your next step in your gaming career. It might just be trying out with a few friends and joining this tournament, see if you can qualify. But if you do qualify, it might just be figuring out how you can really plan out your schedule of training, practicing, and making all of the events to be a competitor, like we've seen teams like TXE, like We Don't Play, like Viper Squadron, who we hadn't heard of before the Master Circuit, now become mainstays and kind of familiar names for us on the broadcast, Girl. So always an exciting thing to see players take that step from anonymity into, maybe being known on a wider scale, especially within the Apex community.
Yeah, lately I've been getting a few new viewers, and I'm honestly telling everyone, you got a PlayStation 4? Come on, compete with us. I might even have some friends competing in NA later this evening.
Okay.
Not 100% sure, but I'm getting people into the community so they can join along the fun and get that competitive experience, because it's an amazing experience to have.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's one of those things that kind of, I think, gives you a different take on the way you play Apex. It will forever change your thought process when you go back into game. And it can still be fun and casual. I think it's just going to be richer. It's, kind of discovering the depth of what something can be, and that will obviously increase the enjoyment of the experience, at least it does for me. Moving into, though, today, that's kind of what I want to talk about. First topic on the table, which everyone needs to know, Broken Moon. I mean, there are differences all across the board. You and I, we actually had a chance to sit down and go for an hour before the map was released and talk to two of the designers of Broken Moon and go through every POI and hear what they designed it for, how they came to the process of it ending up where it is, and learn a little bit about the map, girl. I mean, what are some of your takeaways from kind of the design approach of Broken Moon that people might need to know as we head into watching it today's games?
Well, I love that they took competitive into consideration. I know that was one of your questions going in. So they definitely made sure that, some spots weren't too overpowered and there's a good balance between high ground, low ground. I noticed in my gameplay, they put a lot of cover in the map. There are some hard choke points to get by or some tough spots, but if you avoid those tough spots and you know about them, then you can have a good game yourself. But the design aspects, beautiful. My favorite place is the gardens. I think it's the most beautiful spot on this map. It's a great place to play.
How can you not? How can you not go with that spot? I mean, that's the best looking thing I think we've seen in an Apex map in general. And I also think that when you really consider the theme, many people may not be aware of it. It's heaven and hell. That's kind of the idea of how they were designing the cosmetic look of Broken Moon, and I think that goes into the lore of what this moon is all about. It's a shattered moon. It's something that has been at the depths of the worst position you could be, where you're broken, you're not livable. You've had a home, you've had people who live there who are dispersed, but then you've sent in this new team with the help of Octane's dad, Eduardo Silva, to come in and finance this restoration project, to be able to kind of rebuild it. And there are moments where it works, and there are moments in the map you're going to see that's a little bit more dreary, and that the restoration didn't take, and some of those things didn't actually work out, and then that plays into the design features of what areas on the map kind of look a little prettier and what don't. And the gardens, for sure, I agree with you, girl. Let me ask you this question. You had a chance to play it. Did you land on the hippos or the flamingos, or I forget what the other animal is in the gardens? Did you ever play that? Because those are playable.
I think it was like a dragon type thing. But
a dragon,
have
right.
I landed on one? No. But have I walked under one? Yes. So there's like a spot right underneath that you can play and you can hide under. But there is no loot on them, so if you land on them, you're going to end up with no gun and you're going to get killed right away.
How's the defense? How's the defense of a hippo in Apex Legends? Is it workable? Is it like better than a wall, better than a building? Halfway there? I didn't think I'd ask this question, but I got to know.
I wouldn't do it personally. I would stick with the buildings because they're
we got a hippo hater on broadcast right now. Are you serious?
I mean, they're beautiful, but you can't use them as a defense.
Okay, I don't know about this, girl. We're gonna have to wait and see. Maybe some of our PlayStation teammates will figure it out and they'll show us a good time there on Broken Moon. Obviously, we're talking. The game is about to start. We have a few teams still waiting to get loaded up into the lobby as we jump into it. But I think that might have been the perfect cue. They might have heard me and said it's time to go. So I don't think it'll be too much longer before we jump into it. Girl, I'm personally very, very excited to see how these players approach a map like this, because you tend to see players have a very distinct idea of how they want to take it on. People like Hodsick in the pro community, they kind of, and he'll self-tweet this. He said, I really actually take it on my shoulders. I take the responsibility to basically grind a map as soon as it comes out and be the person who knows the map best the earliest. Basically be the first to the finish line whenever a new map is out, of understanding all of those elements. Will we see some of our PlayStation competitors do that? There's probably also a bunch of teams who are saying, like, let's just go with it. Let's go with the flow. We haven't really trained too much on this, but let's see what it has to offer, right, girl?
Well, if you have more experience on this map, you're definitely going to have an advantage. If you're going in it without much play time, I feel like it's going to get hard. But they did play qualifiers this morning, so it shouldn't be too bad. They must have learned a few things going in through to today, because there's a lot of spots that you can get caught off guard, or, I don't know if you saw Noko's tweet, but that middle part of the map, He's like, stay away from this part of the map. You're going to get third party.
Yeah.
You are going to die. So those are just some little things to know going forward.
It's actually a really good thing to know, because when you consider how you have to deal with the third parties, it's probably going to also fade into your lineup. And I'm looking at, we're seeing a couple of Bangalores. We're seeing, I don't know if that's inspired by Shiv's tournament last night. We're seeing a lot of Bangalores being played. I mean, we're seeing some Gibraltars back in action here, but we're definitely going to continue to see this Horizon, the Seer, the Valkyrie. I feel like Horizon specifically, this map has some height to it. It's got a lot of objects and buildings. She's going to be super valuable in this one. And we can see TXC Raymond staying on it with Shugam and Munchie Bort no longer having Sarah Sutcliffe in the lineup either this season. Maybe it's a new change to the lineup. We'll probably see her in the Twitch chat, as we usually do, watching this. So Sarah will have to answer the question if she's just taking a break or if they've gone with a new adjustment. Either way, Shugam on the Pathfinder. Girl, I know you love that, but do you love that in competitive?
Oh, absolutely. On a map like this where, there's so much room to grapple, take angles.
That's true.
I feel like Storm Point and Broken Moon both kind of have a similarity in some way. It's not as big as Storm Point, but there's still a lot of room for Pathfinder to do Pathfinder things.
That's a good point. I like that. I like that conversation point right there, because I think the grapple straight onto the zip rail is something we've seen Pathfinders use. It's one of the rare abilities that function outside some of the normal tech of just getting on a zip liner or zip rail. Pathfinder can interact with those really seamlessly. It's kind of like a passive. It's not really. It's just one of the way his grapples work. I know a lot of people have been upset with Pathfinder not having a passive that feels like it's separate. It was the first Recon Beacon passive to exist, but now that we've seen so many different legends have that as well, it has really put him in a position where it's been hard to recommend his skills and his talents over some of the other, some would say, bloated character kits that exist in this game. I gotta levy it up too, girl, as we kind of watch Hakeem's and TXC start looting. Is there hope for Pathfinder in the future, or do we need to see something change with, his kit in general to be viable and competitive?
I personally think there has to be something changed. He has a big hitbox, and there's a likelihood of him dying in a building. He doesn't, attribute or contribute anything into a building fight, and he's just so big. So once it comes to those close-range fights, Pathfinder normally loses. That's why he excels in the open, on a map like this, where there's a lot of, traversing and angles that you can take or get out of. Also great for ranked, because he can grab banners,
Why is that?
grapple out. You know how everyone gets third-partied, right?
Right.
Well, he can grapple out when they're getting third-partied, survive, come back, take banners, go for the revive. He's one of the best legends for survivability.
Well, one of the things that you're mentioning here, which I think is very interesting, but I want to kind of ask you how does it compare? We talk about crypto and survivability. I think PlayStation and these tournaments have shown us how valuable the crypto can be in banner retrieval, and also we've started to see it in the Pro League. We've started to see it more and more where Watsons are in play and cryptos are in play. I think at a higher level, more so than we've seen in maybe 3 to 4 seasons now, and so it feels like that's also starting to be a conversation. Banner retrieval with the inevitability of third parties. What are we prioritizing? Winning every fight? Okay, but if we don't, how do we get people back in line? I think that's where maybe you're right. Crypto, Pathfinder have a spot to start to fill, but better than Crypto. He's got more mobility than Crypto, that's for sure, more individual mobility, but banner retrieval still very, very difficult if someone's camping it, and Crypto doesn't have to put himself in danger in it, so it's kind of two sides to the coin, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, and that's a good point. Crypto definitely can get them safer. Pathfinder can just escape the fight, survive, whereas Crypto can't. So Crypto's positioning is really important, whereas Pathfinder can fight straight up and then escape. So 2 different kind of play styles for those 2 different legends that can kind of do the same thing. Here we've got a fight going on. Hakeem's getting some shots off. Beautiful map. There's a few different changes this patch as well. RE45's in the crafter, really strong. And Massive's back on the ground. So a lot of people have been enjoying that. You notice that a lot of people are playing aggressive comps on Broken Moon, which actually begged me to pick up Gibraltar the other day.
Really? Talk to me about that decision making. So what was the process that ended up getting to that point for you?
So take a look right now at Deja Vu. They've got Valk, they've got Bangalore, and they've got Seer. If they get hit by a bombardment, what are they going to do? Not much. Right? So if they're trying to push into your building and you pop a bombardment, they either have to come in, go underneath, or try and get away. And if they get tagged up, then they're cracked, they're caught out of position. I feel like Gibraltar plays really well again because everyone right now is trying to play so aggressive, try and get fights down quick so they don't get third party, but Gibraltar's completely opposite, and it can work.
Interesting, and that's a great point, girl. You talk about what are you going to do in this type of situation, and that's the question everyone has to answer. Gibraltar falling out of the meta. Right now, though, Bangalore falling out of Deja Vu's side, and it's just up the top and Ahmed to try to figure out if they can go ahead and aggress on this and find a little bit of a return fire and trade. They're going to take the high ground on it, and the Bangalore has dropped down to the low ground, and there's some slopes here that they can play off of, which is pretty nice. But you got to get exposed to take these shots. You can see it's just so deadly for Ahmed. Pokes his head where it doesn't belong, and that's Viper Squadron on the other side of it, who are going to clean that up quite easily. Viper Squadron had the down first, and so it was just a matter of time and playing together as a trio to finish off the duo that remained.
Okay, so this is the question that I had earlier. PWN. So they've got a new third, Perry and Maddie. They ended up getting second place in our last tourney and ended up getting those PS5s as well. So they've got a new third coming along with them today. They've been doing well in the qualifiers, and I can't wait to see them perform here. Right now, they've got a quick rotate, good loot. They're playing the Watson comp when Watson has been very viable lately. We've seen that in Pro League as well, as you mentioned with the crypto. But the rotation with Watson, it's got to be dangerous here. And they don't have much rotation besides, you know, Perry and the Valkyrie. But there's enough cover. This is what I was talking about earlier. Developers put a lot of cover in the map as long as you use it. You're going to be able to pop that battery out, but we're going to need help. We're going to need to destroy that ulti.
Beautiful stuff there.
Jen, nice shots with the one clip. It's a 1-for-1 trade. No, now it's a 1-for-2 trade. It's a 2v1. Can Perry clutch this one up? It's all up to Perry. Namka saying, no, that's not going to happen. It's a 2v1. Can they find the last player? They're going to go for the revive instead, potentially. Smokes are going to be able to help with that. And We Don't Play pick up 2 kills.
Crazy stuff there from We Don't Play. You've seen the top 2 teams coming into this lobby absolutely decimate anyone who stepped up to challenge them, and that is leading to one of the conversations I wanted to bring up. These teams play beforehand to get into this, so they might have 2 or 3 qualifying games, and then we see them on broadcast. So they've got a long day. They play about 8 games on the day and 5 on broadcast, but We Don't Play came in out top of that, 47 points. They were the #1 team in those qualifiers. Hakeem's and PMN shortly right behind them. PMN with 24 points on the day, and We Don't Play with 47. That's in 3 games, so just consider that's a pretty good score. That's a 15-point average in all those 3 games. Viper Squadron, 60 in 3. They're averaging 20 points a game. So watch out for those 2 teams coming in red hot here. As you can see, it's all rotating towards backup Atmo, but right now 2Minute Esports feel like they have less than a few seconds to try to finish this fight off. Hiroki trying to just hide. He pokes out with the R301. It'll be enough for something, but it's not enough to survive. Nero falls to Otsuki. Also in trouble. Otsuki, excuse me. And the car, does it have magic in it? No. The trick will be found out, and that will be the end of Sekeli. As they're eliminated, it will be Flojo who finds that final kill.
And now here we are in Alpha Base? Yeah, okay, this is an Alpha Base fight. Shots not connecting with the G7 Scout, but how do you feel about the G7 Scout versus the 3030 repeater?
Oh, I'm a big fan of the G7 girl. I mean, is it really a, you know, for me, I've been having this conversation with myself continually, and I just feel like I'll tell anybody who listens, I think G7 Scout's the best weapon in the game. And it's not because of, you know, you'd rather feel, comfortable. If you had to pick one weapon, that's the weapon you choose. I just feel like this weapon over all other weapons covers more bases of value than any other weapon by itself, maybe outside of the wingman. Because I think the wingman, at its highest level of performance, is also the best weapon in the game. If you hit your wingman shots, if you hit headshots, if you hit shots consistently, you are going to basically beat anybody else if you have a wingman, because you're going to move faster and you're going to be just as deadly. But obviously hard to do. I think the G7 long range, it subs your sniper, it subs your secondary. It's incredible. It's incredible poke. It's great headshot damage. Super easy to use. It's got a great hip fire, close range option that you can run a car and a G7 Scout and feel pretty confident in that you can get close range, medium range, and long range. And I don't think a shotgun car offers that. And that's why I think overall it's just the best weapon that gives your players, and especially if you're an anchor or if you're someone like a support, you have more flexibility with a G7 Scout than almost any other weapon. And that's why I put it in that category, girl. But I don't know. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? I want to hear your thoughts.
I actually agree with you. I think the G7 is really good. But I do like the fact that they brought Anvil receivers back for the R31 and Flatline, because that helps them become really good long-range poke as well.
True.
Of course, it consumes a lot of ammo, but it still makes it viable to the point where, like, hey, it's similar to G7 Scout. It can hit hard at long distances, and it's still really good medium and close range. So definitely helping out the R31 flatline situation here, but the G7 Scout, I've used its hip fire. As long as you can hit your shots, hip fire, close range, it is really, really good. And if you hit those lucky or skilled headshots, close range as well,
we'll call it skilled, yeah.
You can do a lot of damage in minimal amount of time. So definitely agree with you, the G7 Scout. I feel like it's been one of the most popular guns used in the circuit as well.
Valkyrie almost getting caught out. Gotta aim a little higher. Not quite. But it seems like maybe Nero did the dirty work there himself, and it's just going to be the Horizon. Throws a gravity lift up there. The Bangalore, though, and the smokes from Throwkey just completing in the most stylish way ever with the turnaround. Fadeaway jumper just going to take out Jordan 100 SA as they fall from the sky. 2-minute Esport having a nice little run here. And they are actually by themselves towards the southeastern side. There is a member of Space Fagio 8 on the far left side. This actually is a two-man squad at the very least. And there's a few teams to their west, but right now if we follow 2-minute Esport, they're taking zip rails into the zone. And this is one of the benefits, girl, of those zip rails, just being able to make those rotations. And they get off right there when they have a chance to maybe be seen by some teams. Don't want to get shot off them. But let's head over to the left side of our map with Red Fade here. They see someone in the zone, and they're not trying to let them out.
Yeah, they've been gatekeeping this zone, and that's what we're talking about. The choke points are so hard to get by, especially if someone's gatekeeping you with a G7 Scout. Grubby's going to go down to space, and that's going to leave one of them or two of them left alive.
Risky.
This is very risky, and Red Fade is just a duo, so they're trying to take advantage of anything that they can, because they know if they go end zone too early, they're just going to get pushed, knowing that they're a duo. BOTY, they got the revive, so they're a three-man up again, so it could be a 3v2. Eventually, if we can get this Phoenix kit off, Zone 3 coming in 57 seconds. They're figuring out a way to get in. This is a nice zip line, but is it going to be enough? 3 versus 2. They got Gibby. They might have Dome back up here shortly. The other team just wants to run away.
Why wouldn't you? Red Fade has had their number the entire time. It's going to get scouted out here, though. Like this combination, you can see the mobility. So crucial in Apex Legends esports at the highest level. You got to have something. And going for the Pathfinder here. We may see a little bit more of this in PlayStation over the day, especially because we're playing on Broken Mood. And RGN doing a great job of that. Grubby made himself hit that Phoenix kit, kind of slowed the pace down after getting knocked, and has stabilized here, playing a nice little defensive role, allowing Andrew Zajewski to go ahead and scout out ahead. So this is the key. 10 seconds left. Now they are the ones in the position of gatekeeping Red Fade. Can they do it? Do they even want to continue this fight? Or are they just worried about getting into safety, getting into a building and saying, let's worry about this a little bit later?
Another advantage of them going into zone would be for them to gatekeep squads behind them now, right? So Definitely something to consider. They just got to make sure that they don't get gate kept themselves. They're going to try cutting Red Fade off. I believe that's still Red Fade. Yep, it is Red Fade space. Trying to get in. Might get caught out early. And that's just what happens when you focus gatekeeping a team. You get gate kept yourself, and that's going to be it for space. That is going to hurt. You cannot heal that one out at 20 HP. So Red Fade's going to get eliminated at 10th place. BOTY, though, what happened to Grubby? Ends up dying in the zone as well.
Just a bummer there. You know, going a little bit too hard. And this is what we talked about, girl. Let's go back to that conversation initially about Crypto and Pathfinder. Not going to be able to go and run back in as Pathfinder and get that banner. I mean, Crypto with the drone would certainly be able to grab that banner in this zone right now. But I think because of the pressure you're seeing XRGN have on him, and Sajewski as well, they're not going to be able to sacrifice any minute, any moment of time without two of them fighting to hold their space and keep presence there. So they will most likely lose Grubby with 9 squads left. That was Red Fade to fall on the 10th. We've got 4 rounds having gone by. A minute before this 4th round is complete. 2-minute Esport. A couple assists to their name. They have been playing quite well, and they've gotten themselves into the zone in a pretty decent spot. They'll have to move for this next one, but not too far. And holding the high ground here. In a nice position to hit a couple of shots. And this is where that G7 might really come into hand here. VTXG, Aura, also feeling that they've got to get into the zone as well. You can tell it's getting congested here, but I'm not sure they're going to find a place to land. Maybe have to find, hopefully, inside the building and try to lock this thing down. They don't have a Watson to fence up, but they did make it in safely, and so this will be an easy, established reset for them as they are now in zone, holding this bottom area against these teams as We Don't Play is on the high ground.
They're playing Bloodhound as well, so very aggressive comp. They've got the scans, just not Seer scans. Romex plays with the charge rifle on height, just scouting, seeing if he can get some kills from the distance. The armors are pretty juiced up. They still could get red ones, though. And they've still got time to play here. Still 9 squads left. There's a lot of room to play. I don't feel like anyone has to die unless Rom says otherwise with these shots. Pretty nice shots indeed. RGB was eliminated.
Oh, well, that is a that is a big team dropping as well. Raymond taking down Color Bucket to do the job there with the G7 Scout. So TXC, watch out for them and their new squad. They are still involved and ready to play in this final circle. These teams starting to know each other over the course of several seasons of the Master Circuit. And now they are fighting on the newest map with the highest stakes yet for Season 3. It is Hakeem's going in with a gravity lift and a black hole. Cannot find it. Hakeem's tries to get the damage on, but they will go down. 5 kills for XRGN, actually. And that is a big, big sign that they are playing with fire over there. They are still alive. Flojo, XRGM, and that is a testament to how well they have played. We Don't Play holding this building now, but they're going to have to shift. They can still hold that top side, though, girl, so part of it will still be in. I think they're in a really nice spot here, at least for final circle.
Yeah, they are. They've got the high ground. They got space to be able to get some kills. DXC, wow, already in a fight with everyone looking over them. This might not be good. But they do have this low ground area with lots of cover. TXC with the car, just scouting. You got an ADS with that Seer, so you know exactly where the other team is. But hey, Raymond's gonna heal up. They're all gonna be full health. And the show is gonna go on.
That's the way it goes. You mentioned the space. They do have a ton of time and space to be able to fight this one out. There's 7 squads, but it gives you an idea of how big some of these POIs are and how much time you can kind of hold with just one of these areas. It's a dangerous peek from Shugum, but it's a dangerous peek for Forcey as Shugum makes his presence known with the flat line. 108 to the shield and looking for more.
Good thirst. Forcey is eliminated. Armor swaps, loot, all in their hands right now. They don't have to worry too much about zone. They're not far from it. they don't have much cover here, it seems. They've got the staircase. Not getting shot from above, but they are going to be shooting down below. The R301's going to hit. Will they be able to get anything off of it? Raymond's going to go up into the air, but he has no armor. He's going to need some cover fire. Shugham's going to have to make a play here with the flat line. Yep, the hip fire is going to hit, but 20 HP left. R301, can we get that last shot? We can. We've got a shield battery to heal up, and we've got that Pathfinder grapple. Like I was saying, you can just get out of any situation you need to right back into cover. That's what Pathfinder does.
Beautiful moment there from TXC. They have a new squad for Season 3, and they are performing. We don't play, though. This is the team who came in top spot in qualifiers, and they look to take the top spot here. They've got the highest spot as well, so their top spot in multiple different scenarios, and Twiggy is feeling the pressure and the heat. Viper Squadron, see you later. We don't play. Fire the first round, and it is a hit. They have sunk the battleship. They'll have to go ahead for their next turn and see if they can respond, but we don't play, claiming the best position and the best moment of play so far here, eliminating their number 2 competitor. But TXC has certainly shown that they are up for the challenge. What will they do here? It is a tough approach. TXC going to have to move at some point. Will they have to move first is the question. And remember, there's a team underneath still holding in that I believe we saw fly in earlier, girl. And so TXC has definitely got their work cut out for them. But they're on the low ground and they've got cover to play. And we cannot say the same thing for Ron Plays, Namka, and Carniva of We Don't Play for when they have to drop.
Yeah, it looks like TXC does have the better position, but we'll find out when this closes in, because We Don't Play will have to drop on top of another team. Although they do have Bangalore smokes to be able to throw down right before they drop so they don't get completely shot at. They've got such a good angle here to do damage. Carnova actually got a knock with the Arc Star. TXC is not looking good right now. They don't have that much cover to play. They're getting shot at. Shigham goes down as well. This is not looking good for them. We Don't Play having this high ground position. So much LOS on every other team line of sight. And that's going to get them a few more free kills. Bloodhound ulti is going to come through. They're getting the revive, though.
Look at that gravity lift. Look at how close that is to popping all 3 of them up. It's still going to take Shigham down. And Raymond, he needs a miracle here. But look at who is waiting, biding their time, the entirety of it. TXC is out. But will We Don't Play have enough in the tank to go against VTXG Aura, who have been waiting? Oh my God, 126, the Arc Star absolutely deletes them. See you later, We Don't Play. VTXG Aura will claim the first game of our Season 3 Master Circuit wildcard, day number 1.
That Valkyrie ulti got them there in that position. Great job being patient, perfectly third-partying. They had that Horizon, the Arc Stars as well. Saving your grenades till the end is crucial, and has always shown that it's done a good job and can help you get any win at the end. So being confident, being calm, taking the right steps, getting to that end zone, perfectly played.
It really was. And, you know, TXC, like, they, I think, had the, it seemed like for getting into the circle and kind of being in that position, had the hardest road to get there. And then it looked like they had a great spot. But what ended up happening, which, you know, it's kind of like a roll of the dice or, you know, flip of the coin, is who decides to focus on who. And we saw TXC get focused by We Don't Play, and that just gave VTXG Aura the ability to show up afterwards. And that put We Don't Play, after exhausting the gravity lift, which would be their main escape movement, after exhausting the black hole to try to finish off TXC, they just didn't have enough in the tank to go ahead against VTXG Aura. And I think that was a great play from VTXG Aura. It was a great Valkyrie skyward dive that put him in the position to hold that low ground. And also, you got to say, these teams, it speaks a lack of familiarity with end zones, right? Because that spot was completely open. There were several teams around that area, but no one took to or thought to even hold that low ground. So that's a surprising thing that I think if we look forward into maybe a 5 days of tournaments from now on, we won't see spots like that open in those types of circles, because people know that that's nearly a god spot.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people's mindsets right now are offense over defense for this map, as you can see. But there were a few Watson teams, PMN, they died early, right? They might have had that spot if they did not get pushed by We Don't Play earlier. So We Don't Play, they were being aggressive. They were making sure, hey, somebody might be under us. You know, maybe nobody knew that the spot was open as well. But we've seen a lot of people fighting on edge. Everyone, like, take a look. Every fight we're just looking at right now is on the edge, near the storm. Almost nobody rotated early, just a couple squads, which made it easy for these edge teams, if they survived, to get into that end zone. So you might see some things change. What a graphic!
Wow. Whoa. I didn't know Charge Rifle did that when you shot somebody. Oh, my God. PlayStation stepping it up. We love to see it. I mean, you're completely right, girl. Some of those moments just as shocking, and it continues to give us a clear vision to try to explain to people, maybe how the tastes of this map, how the sensitivities of going about this map are playing themselves within the game. Because I think players, there's not, if you're not as certain where the game is going to end, if you're not as certain about what the God spot is in this zone, it is a little safer to play edge. See if you can rotate. Making that big bet on something you don't really know yet and hasn't been explored and tested like Broken Moon, well, it's just probably not worth it. So, maybe TXC got a little lucky. Maybe they put the time, not TXC, We Don't Play. Maybe they put the time in. I wouldn't be surprised, but that is it. That won the fight right there. There's just no coming back from that. You basically do 250 damage with one grenade. And, that's lights out. BTXGR, they will win the day. And they will be our #1 game winners of 5 in our wild card starting of our 3rd season. Andreo, Azrael, and Vertex. Rinks, got to give a big shout out to them. 4-2-4-2-0-5. Lots of assists, though, and a big setup to ultimately finish the win. And you can see these aren't going to be the highest numbers, girl, because they were not out there fighting. They were sitting in a good spot for a while.
But you can see how efficient that they were, right? 8 kills with sub 800 damage on both players. That's really efficient. They put themselves in really good spots and ended up getting the most amount of points. So first place, VTX Giara with 20 points, but not far behind We Don't Play, who also took themselves a great position and got a lot of eliminations at 18 points. TXC, they had to fight their way into this zone through and throughout, and they've netted themselves a good amount of points. This is a great start to this tourney.
Yeah, and I think 2 Minute Esport, too, somebody I'm keeping my eye on. That was a great game. They had several kills. They were very aggressive. They got caught, I think, on TXC's side, and so that ended up not working out in terms of the rotation, but ultimately a really good showcase. PMN, you wanted to talk about them. Haven't performed yet. That's our bottom 10. It will lead us into more conversations, though, over the course of today because, we've got 5 games. We've got plenty of time for them to figure this thing out. But in the same way, you have to be consistent over the course of your mistakes. You have to minimize them, and you have to maximize the moments that you can do well. I think if you're in a God spot like We Don't Play, if you're in a God spot like VTX Giara, you want to come out in first or second. That's all you really want from having a great spot like that. They both did it. They both basically are only 2 points away from each other. So I think they've started the tournament as well as they want. I'm surprised Viper Squadron, yes, they got a 7-point game, but I want to tell you, they played their first 3 games to get here on Broken Moon, 60 points. They cleared out the rest of their lobby. That is an insane amount of points. That's a 20-point average for every single game. So maybe just, We Don't Play took them out. Maybe that's the reason that they weren't putting off another 20-point game. But I don't know. We would love to see Viper Squadron step it up because that would be pretty abysmal to have such a great start and then not finish it when the tournament goes live.
There's a hard low ground there to play because We Don't Play just had oversight with Charge Rifle, R301s. They were shooting for free. Nobody contested them up top. Don't feel like we've seen anybody take the zip lines up. Nobody Valk ulted up top. So we might see that in the future as well. I think people are just getting used to the map, as you said, so they don't know what they can and cannot do. Up top actually has enough space for maybe 2 to 3 teams. If they really wanted to hold it down, yes, there is that space, but you do have to have a defensive legend. Something that we haven't seen very much is Catalyst. Catalyst is great for holding down rooms as well, so maybe we'll see that in the future. But, comfort legends like Watson, Caustic, they work really well for these situations as well.
I wonder if North America will give us a little bit more Catalyst. Or maybe there's a team that died early that was rocking Catalyst we'll get a chance to see in Game 2 as that comes up very, very shortly. We're just setting that lobby up for you. But I think that does bring a great point to, I think, get into a little bit deeper is the defensive legends and the status that they're at. So we've got Crypto, we've got Watson, we've got Gibraltar, we've got Catalyst. Rank those in order for me of who you're bringing to an Apex Legends squad right now. And you know, you could give me some spice if you want. You could make a little bit of a bold pick there. But I mean, kind of rank them in your eyes, I guess, at least, you know, where they're ranking right now for you in terms of efficiency in this meta.
Well, for me, Catalyst is at the bottom just because she's so new.
Oh, man.
Yeah, just because she's so new. I mean,
come on.
One grenade can destroy the doors that take 4 punches to destroy. So kind of gets countered by Horizon. The ultimate just goes through, breaks the door. You still get sucked in. So if you're still playing in a Horizon heavy meta, Catalyst doesn't work so incredibly well. The wall has been really fun to play with and against, though. I will say that it is hard to fight a team that's really playing well around her ultimate.
Yeah.
But what were the other legends? Crypto is one of them?
Crypto, yep. Crypto, Watson, and Gibraltar. Talk to me about them. We've seen all of them except...
Gibby's number one.
Gibby's number one.
Yes,
okay.
because Gibby has bombardment, so Gibby can revive.
Okay.
There still are seers, but it's not necessary to use Dome for a revive. You could just use Dome for rotation. Like, I feel like PMN could have used a Gibby in that situation rather than a Watson. They had Watson, but they never placed Jen down, and then they ended up dying. Probably because they were in the open. They wanted to save Jen or whatnot. But if they had a Gibraltar, for instance, they would have used Dome, healed up, and been able to work as a team. And you can also have bombardment as an offensive and defensive strategy. So if you're getting pushed, throw that bombardment down in the direction that you're getting pushed. Gibraltar works so well. I can't stress it enough. No, I don't tell people this yet, but I guess on the PlayStation broadcast, I will.
Okay.
Everyone's playing so aggressive. So Gibraltar is just the perfect counter to it because he's defensive and offensive. And maybe not the best inside of a building legend, but if you are inside of a building and someone's trying to infiltrate, throw that bombardment. They have to either come right through into your line of sight, or they got to tank that bombardment and you go out swinging with a little Dome massive gameplay here. Massive's back on the ground, and hey, and no, super incredibly fun. And then I would put, so we've got Crypto and we've got Caustic, Watson.
Yeah. Well, we've got Crypto too, and we've also we've got Watson. And there's another legend that I haven't mentioned is Newcastle. What's going on?
Yeah.
You know, Newcastle, I think, is in a great position, too, and has only gotten stronger. I'm surprised not to see him.
Newcastle's been actually played by a few Pro League teams in World's Edge and Stormpoint. I didn't see Newcastle play very much on this map because we haven't had much competition, not many tournaments on this map. This is why PlayStation's doing one of the first things, introducing some really, really high-skill gameplay on Broken Moon. Newcastle's just difficult because Horizon, again, also counters Newcastle in a way.
Well, if I'm a designer, I'm listening to Girl, all I'm going into my next meeting is, Horizon! How do we fix this dang character? What the heck is going on? She does everything and beats everybody. At least that's what I heard. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I see a little Loba in there. Do I see a Catalyst? I'm trying to see. Just, Girl, if you help me out here. Is there anything special?
We've got a Fuse. We've got a Catalyst on Legends of Apex. Team,
we got to see 9. Them. Legends of Apex. We got to watch a little bit of them. See our first Catalyst here on Broken Moon. Nice spot out, Girl.
Thank you.
And, you know, we can continue that conversation. Let's go deep into it again because, you know, as we start Game 2, obviously we don't play fantastic performance. TXC as well kind of put the pressure on them, and I love that, you know, we're seeing an adjustment. They're playing the Pathfinder. They're running into things really confidently, but can they do it again? And, you know, is this lineup going to prove that they've got what they need with, forget the defensive legends, they're taking a whole new approach. Bloodhound instead of the Seer. They're going back to basics. Maybe this destabilization from what we've seen so far over the course of all of Apex Legends kind of saying, you know, Gibby, it's, you know, we don't need Gibby anymore. It's Horizon, it's Seer. Maybe the thing that's going to happen in this destabilized aggressive meta is that we're going to go back to being more conservative. We're going to bring back Gibbies. We're going to bring back Bloodhounds. And that's going to be more of where people find their bearings and then start experimenting again. I wouldn't be surprised. But we saw Legends of Apex flying down there. Switched over to Hakim's for just a moment. But Legends of Apex, you can see they are rocking a Catalyst. So we'll have a little bit of a view of them. Maybe see some of her abilities in there. Might get into a fight. They certainly didn't have a big performance last time. But we will be tracking how our Catalyst does in the first or second game, I guess. But it looks like we may be needing to reset this match. Absolutely fine. So, girl, how about that Catalyst? Look good flying.
Catalyst is fun. Catalyst is great for buildings as long as it's not against a Horizon or a team with a lot of nades. I know there's one Fuse as well playing in this tournament as well. So, Catalyst is fun. I feel like she'll find her place more on World's Edge. Personally, that's where I see her flourishing. Okay. Because then there's a lot more buildings, a lot more room to play for end zones with Catalyst. Whereas Stormpoint and Broken Moon feel like more open maps, and it's quite hard. But her ultimate does let her traverse, and like if she needs to cross an open field, kind of like where PMN died last game, she could throw her ulti, block some cover. But the fact that there's so many high up buildings in this map, somebody could just be right up here, look right over your wall, and shoot you for free. So maybe if her wall was a bit higher.
It is a very high wall. I mean, let's get clear. It's a very, very high wall as well. So I think that is, you know, it's a question mark. I'm sure they're looking to see how she performs, right? I mean, this is leads us to kind of one of the biggest drama points of Apex Legends coming out this season, which was there are a ton of weapon changes, and when people kept scrolling in the patch notes, it ended. And they said, wait a second, what happened to the Legends? There are no Legend changes at all. That is unheard of. That has never happened in a season of Apex Legends where we have had 0 adjustments to the Legends. And so it seems a very definitive time in the design process and cycle to take this on and this approach right now. And my conjecture was, Catalyst is meant to be an anti-scan Legend. They're also very aware that Catalyst could be, in the right hands, in the right situation, strong. You know, who knows whether their eye on the ball of that is correct or not. But I think they are very wary of this could be very effective, this could be very weak, but we need to see how this Legend performs in the ecosystem that is Apex Legends at this point. And I think that's where a lot of people were confused. But I wanted to get your thoughts on that because, I mean, do you feel that having none of these changes and then introducing Catalyst is giving you a better idea of actually where Catalyst sits versus if we had seen like a big Watson buff, a Crypto nerf, you know, a Bloodhound buff, and then Catalyst got thrown in there?
Well, you were talking about how Catalyst was supposed to be an anti-scan Legend, but Seer's ultimate allows you to see through that, to see where footsteps are, and you can shoot through Catalyst wall. So therefore, Seer still works against Catalyst. Yeah. And also, I'm not sure if Bloodhound scans go through as well. I think that they do, but don't quote me on that. And Crypto's drone, if you just put it right over that wall, you can see everything behind the wall, and therefore you can also get your shots as well. So I don't feel like she defines anti-scan meta just yet.
What would you say? What would you say that wall does? What would you say the key point of that wall is? Then I mean, look at it in a way that, okay, if it's not anti-scan, where is the position for it? Right? Where does it fit?
Well, so she's more of a replacement for Caustic or Watson, in my opinion, because she can hold down buildings really well with her passive, allowing her to barricade and re-barricade doors, even if they're broken even. I think that's where she comes in handy with the barricades and the in-house gameplay, and that's why I think she'd work well on World's Edge. You know, there are definitely better legends for rotation than Catalyst, as, you know, the wall does its thing. But she's also good for recovery. So kind of in the Gibraltar sense, where Gibraltar pops dome and revives, she can pop wall and tip the scales of the fight. As long as there's no horizon, or as long as the fight's been fairly close, she pops that wall. They don't know whether if they want to come through it or not, and it gives that surprise effect. But if there's a horizon on the other team, she can queue over the wall, because the wall it's high, but it's not high enough to stop a horizon team.
That is very, very interesting. I wonder if these things are going to be adjusted based on the intention, or maybe the intention is just, you're right, it's just going to be, this is the character, this is what occurred, this is what we're going to try to shift. You know, typically I would say that they would be looking at all of these things here. And also, maybe the idea is that there's a lot of other levers that they want to see pulled based on, you know, a lot of the other legends. Maybe it's not so much about Catalyst. Maybe it's about, you know, we need 2 seasons to really see if this Sea or Horizon thing becomes crazy. Is it in this highest level of competitive that they're overtuned? And that's one of the big things that, you know, as we kind of get into this dev talk while we are loading in this map. And thank you so much for your patience, by the way, but we want to keep things interesting while we can. Big conversation is that when you look at games like this, when you're playing with this type of high-level community who know the game really well, who know the legends very well, their performance on certain legends is going to be an outlier in comparison to what that legend does if you hand it to your 9-year-old cousin with a PlayStation controller and say, have fun. Go play Apex, you know, on your PS4 or your PS5. I would say that if I had a PS5. We don't have a PS5 yet. We're still asking for a PS5. If you want to send it to us, we'll take it, and I'll let my cousin play it. Don't worry. But at the end of the day, yeah, it's like that is going to be your maybe your 80% of your population. And that's going to be something where if you look at 80% of your population is underperforming with a character, they lose 40% of the time because they're hard to maneuver, right? Maybe it's hard to take advantage of all the things that they do. But the best players in the top 10% win 60% of the time because they know how to maneuver all those abilities. It becomes a very difficult conversation. Do you buff it so that the 10% becomes even more overpowered in the pro league and in the highest levels so that the casual players can have a better experience with that legend? Or do you leave it the same? Do you nerf it? And then you nerf the high level, but then the people who are general playing Apex Legends, they get an even worse experience. It's already not a winning legend for them. So these are the conversations designers have to figure out, girl. It's not always easy to see that there's a best choice for anything. You often have to make sacrifices in these types of design decisions.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You've given a really good insight, and few examples that I can mention right now is in Pro League there have been Lobas, there have been Ramparts, there have been Mad Maggies. Although we don't see it often, although you might not see your favorite streamer play them consistently, there are viable legends to play when we're talking about the highest level of Apex, like you were mentioning. You know, not your 9-year-old cousins just yet. Maybe in a few years they might actually end up being professional. You never know.
That's true.
Depending on the age limit in that country you're at. 16, I think it is in the US to compete professionally. But take a look at this. We've got Alpha Base, TXC, and is it Hakim? Going on a 3v3. They were doing it last game. They're about to do it again just now. It's a really small POI, so the fights ensue very fast, but you can also take the zip rail right on out from both sides. So both teams could just zip rail on out, get some more loot, or they could take this 3v3 and fight. TXC has been known throughout the series to continuously fight off drop. I don't know what it is. I think they like those 3 free KP at the beginning. They think they're a strong fighting team, and they have been a strong fighting team. So let's take a look at this. Bolts are going to come through, and they like to take whatever spot that they want.
It really works well for them, and that's why I think you understand who you are and you understand your approach to the game, and you just rock it. You trust yourself. And right now, as I say it, curse the commentator, Munchie Board goes down. They're going to rocket Thermite. It's actually a good decision. It's going to start burning the shield, and it's just a white shield, so that should crack right there. You just heard it. Arcstar out to buy some time. They may lose Munchie Board in this process. They may have to abandon that door. But Munchie Board may be playing with the shield, could help them. Staying on this high ground as well. You can see the one that they've downed. They finished that off. That is a blue shield swap. And that could potentially really help them there. Big flat line, and that is the problem. Just patience from Shigum is almost going to do it. They've done enough damage there with the limited resources from early game that I do not see it being possible that they're going to lose this bad boy. And they're going to start the res right there. Beautiful gravity lift to get him up. And now Toucan Mateen, no, they have to push it. Munchie Fort is alive and well. And going to get the final kill on Mateen. Nice. Nice poetic justice there. And Hakeem's will be eliminated as TXC continue their strong early fighting ways. And 5 other teams have done that as well, girls. We have only 15 squads now. A lot of early action here in this game.
I want to talk about that fight just a little bit. TXC played that so well. What was the first step that they took to turn the fight around? Well, they took high ground. High ground was amazing to take because they're either going to have to queue on up with Horizon Gravity Lift or they're going to have to climb. And if they do climb, that's free shots for TXC. So in a fight, in a building fight, taking height normally grants you the advantage of the fight unless a third party's underway. But when you are taking a strict 50-50 off drop, you know height's going to be the advantage because normally there isn't a 50-50 right away. And the second thing that they did was give their teammate that gravity lift to get on up there and get that free revive. 2 really good things that you could take note of. If you want to become a better player at home, watch TXC and learn from really good players like these at home.
Well, look at this, girl. Great insight there, and I'd love to rewatch that. It's almost like, man, it'd be great to do a little, you know, inside the NFL, kind of run that tape back, get you the yellow lines and the circles, and you can do a whole segment there. We did see Afghan a little bit there with the Catalyst. Sickly now taking the zip rails, the newest feature of Broken Moon. It gives you momentum, meaning that if you're going downhill, you're going to actually slide faster. If you're going uphill, you're going to slide slower. And there is a maximum momentum that you can achieve on those zip rails, but it'll take into account a lot of things, like how fast you're moving when you jump onto it, and obviously direction. So very, very cool addition, and helps this map feel a lot smaller than it really is. But they won't have a problem with range. Rocking the Bangalore, the Seer, give you that distance and the vision, but also with Fuse, a legend we see every now and then, always just kind of a pocket pick for a lot of these squads, but has the ability to throw grenades twice as far and carry twice as much per stack, especially alongside his 2 instances of a knuckle cluster for his tactical ability. Makes for a very, very dangerous range threat. And excited to see how Lloyd pulls some of his setup with Fuse here on Sickly as they loot up and continue moving towards the zone.
Yeah, there's still a fair amount of good squads left alive. Dry Gulch might have a 3v3 in hand right now, underway, maybe, potentially. Don't think Seer's able to scan Beacon just yet. Oh, take a look at this. PMN. I almost got that backwards. PWN.
Well, W is just M flipped upside down, so you're not too off.
Well, they've got a good start this game. They had a rough start last game, so they're playing it a little bit slower this time around, and they're getting some kill points on the edge. They don't want to be the first to rotate. They don't want to encounter we don't play right off the bat. So it's a good decision by them to get these kill points, get all of this good loot, and get stacked on their utilities. So PWN in a good spot, and they've already scanned Beacon, so they know that they're not too far away from the next zone. They're in a really good spot. Red Fade, our duo from last game. Oh, he's gonna go for the third so he can get that kill point right before he gets chased down. And this is what Pathfinder does. He gets out of sticky situations. Can we see a big grapple? We see a big grapple. He's gonna be able to get out and get out untouched. And this is why I love Pathfinder so much. I just, like you were talking about it earlier, what do they got to do to make Pathfinder viable in the biggest tournaments, those $1 million tournaments? Well, I think Pathfinder needs a better passive personally. That I've been advocating for that for seasons now.
Wow.
Yes, because Pathfinder's passive, although it does grant you zip lines, using too many zip lines can just get you beamed You know what I mean? Everyone can kind of track you on those zip lines. So late game zip lines aren't very useful, in my opinion. So Pathfinder's a really good fighter, really good during the game. But once it becomes an in-building fight, not much value is used from him there. And also when it's becoming those late game end circles, Pathfinder can't really do much there as well. So I really, really like to see a new passive introduced for Pathfinder. What about you? Do you have any ideas?
I got an interesting concept, and it's not something they've done before, but I think one of the things that if you have a legend like this that, you know, is meant to be like kind of more of an individualistic legend when it comes to team fighting and you know, at the end of games, you know, maybe a proper zip line ends up working out, maybe not. Hold that thought though for Sickly as they're in the thick of it. You can see Otsuki. Otsuki finds nice down. This is Viper Squadron they're fighting, so it's a big deal. Viper Squadron have a lot to prove, and they are going to prove it here. They lost 4C, but they're going to bring him back up. Dominus has to hold against the cover fire as 4C is going to pop a new shield, and they will be able to recover. Viper Squadron, big win there. Our number 2 team in terms of points, our number 1 team in terms of points coming into today, bouncing back after their 3v3 loss to We Don't Play in game 1, looking like a much more promising game number 2. But girl, I think this is what we've expected to see from Viper Squadron from the very beginning, so it's nice to see it now. Uh-oh,
yeah.
Is this We Don't Play coming on with them?
Oh my goodness, Bloodhound ulti coming on in. The Raw next play is gonna wait for that scan in 2 seconds before they can do anything. Not quite sure whose Bangalore ulti just went down. Everything's black and white here. They've got the high ground on them too, so these Sky Nades, hopefully they hit. Otherwise, they're on the low ground, they're at the disadvantaged position, but they're gonna go in anyways. Car SMG, not quite connecting anything yet. They're gonna go up into the air together. They're gonna take this high ground together. This is gonna be good, but are they gonna drop on their feet?
Oh.
No, they go up behind them. 96 damage with the car spray. That's gonna be really good to start it off with. The scan even coming through. But is he gonna be enough?
Oh, Rock's got hit.
No, he doesn't hit. He doesn't hit Twiggy. Takes him down.
Big decision there to go and isolate the 1v1. The scan mid-air gave the information to the teammates, but Twiggy is going to go down here with the bleed out. We'll get around the rock for the team. What does that do for Viper Squadron? They're going to get a quick revive, and that is a black hole from the horizon trying to push the envelope. But it looks like it will be a third party coming in on this and an immediate skyward dive out. They have dealt with We Don't Play. They do not want to fight anymore. And Viper Squadron have had an electric start to this game and have certainly let us know that it will not just be We Don't Play in the final rings of this lobby.
It's interesting to see them on the edge of zone as well this time around. They didn't get a fast rotate like they did earlier in their first game, so interesting because it really worked out for them that other game. I'm wondering why they chose to play differently. Is it because they're so far away from the storm? Is it because a team was fighting and they just could not help themselves? You know, when you get into those games and you hear the gunshots and you're like, well, do I third party or do I go to zone? Yes, I think everybody encounters those thoughts when they're playing Apex Legends. And sometimes after the math, you're like, maybe I should have just went to zone. Unfortunate, gotta go next.
You know, and We Don't Play, that is it. Mr. Namka had survived there, and I think it ran into the zone and kind of gotten out of it, but that was the end of the fight in all intents and purposes. And Nomio will clean up We Don't Play. So after a first place, a second place finish with 18 points, they will go out in 12th place with very few points to their name in this game. So this is the perfect opportunity for the lobby to even up and kick us off in game number 2. Viper Squadron, I think, just felt confident in the positioning. And We Don't Play, I think they exerted a lot, girl, to try to get up there. They took the gravity lift together. That kind of kicked off the engagement. Viper Squadron dropped down, took the gravity lift up after them. And although Rom Plays hit a really nice 96 spray, it just wasn't enough, and it isolated himself when he landed into that 1v1, and the wingman shots didn't hit, and that's why it's hard to say that that wingman is the best weapon a lot of times, because you do get in moments like that where you just need one shot, but it's less reliable than if you had a car there and you can hit one of your 30 bullets that you're spraying towards your opponent's direction. You have to be accurate. Certainly has a high skill ceiling and a high value at the end of it, but can also hurt very, very much as well when it doesn't play your way.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. Pathfinder zipline, it does its job sometimes in a very short range or for those rotations, but if someone were to catch that, were to be in this building, then they get beamed and they die for free. So that's why I just feel like Pathfinder zipline's a hit or miss. You gotta know when you can use it, but having more of them, I don't know, is the play. Oh my goodness, take a look here. We've got a team crafting in the storm. Crafting some medkits so that they can survive. Are we gonna get the beam here with the charge rifle? Are we waiting for them to get closer so that we can for sure get a knock? What's going on here? These charge rifle shots, you know they're gonna hit if he shoots. No, they're not even gonna go for it?
Interesting. Interesting.
What? No way. They decide to go for the zone because zone 3 is coming in and they do not want to get caught here.
Yep.
All the way on the edge. So that's one of those moments.
That was one of those moments, and they took the road less traveled by. They didn't listen to their inner KP goblin, and they decided to rotate and make a smart move. I think this is growth we're witnessing in the PlayStation Masters.
It is growth indeed for Raymond. It's not going to grow for any longer because he's going to get put down into the ground. Oh my goodness, what an amazing nade from the opponent as well. Munchie takes a big hit. Smokes are not going to be enough to save Raymond, but Shigum playing that Pathfinder. So this is one of those choke points that I was talking about earlier where there are some spots where you just wish you never took. And this is one of them. The high ground just has complete line of sight. It's so hard to get through these areas of the map. Good thing we've got a Bangalore with a lot of smokes. This might be a good playable area, but it is not in the zone, so they got to keep traveling. They got to keep rotating. Unfortunate for Raymond, they did retrieve the banner, though. They can plug him in. Not sure. Yep, we do have mobile res beacon and crafting, so if they do get that crafting, no, they'll be okay. They'll be okay. Trust the process.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. They're going to be okay. They're going to be flying on into zone. But how's their landing? Their landing's kind of slow. Okay.
Okay.
All right, they're safe. They've made it in the building. They're okay.
That's officially safe.
Oh my, officially safe. But one more tick and they might have lost one. But
they might. I mean, you know what? At the end of the day, though, that's what it's all about. I mean, because that's the most efficient skyward dive you can do, right? As long as you don't die, that is the most efficient skyward dive. There's no one who's gonna be able to go later than you. And that's the min-maxing thing. You talk about your short that hit over 600,000 views. Talking about here's the last moment you can hit a med kit from basically being in zone and sliding out and having this much health. I mean, that is truly taking the game to its limits, so that if anything, you are even with other players who are maxing out the possibilities yourself, and you're not behind. So that's what we should see. And I love to put that on display. A thing that we did not expect to see, though, was our top 3 teams, 2 of them being out already before we hit the top 10. That's TXC eliminated. Shigum falls down in your kill feed, and now we have 9 squads left. DOTY with some beautiful high ground and in zone. You might be able to call this God spot. But we'll also have to pay attention to where Viper Squadron is, as they seem like they are a team with a mission.
I wonder what this smoke is for. Is this smoke so that they could close the gap, or is this smoke to block off our own line of sight?
Our own line of sight?
Under the other guy. But they've got a really good spot. They've got high ground. And the good thing about Battle Royales and these big maps is the zone's going to pull different directions. Now we're on the other side of the map. Other teams might end up taking the win and taking up all the points. So that's going to even out the leaderboard later on. And that's what makes a really good tournament. So another skyward dive coming on through. PMN, where are they gonna go? There's lots of space inside the building, but there are a few teams inside already. They're gonna take ultimate high ground, and they're gonna get themselves into a fight here. It goes Gibby right underneath. The scan comes through. He doesn't use his ultimate right away, and I'm not 100% sure why.
Right. could definitely be benefiting from that, girl. You mentioned it. There's just not enough defense for them to be able to land and then avoid that ult. So the Gibbies, I think, going to give up space as well. They're already in the middle of that fight, and it has not worked out for BOTY, and I think that's the reason. BOTY already in trouble, fighting that team across the way who they're engaged with, and then you see PMN land just a little bit later. And now they are the ones doing the gatekeeping from that solo player who is behind them. We'll see if that continues. It is still there. It's Ammo Guanticus, I believe, who is that solo player still in that building. So on our southern side, we see four teams on this squad. Legends of Apex, by the way, made it to a top 7 running a Catalyst. Again, got to keep an eye on them. Obviously, the only team so far running a Catalyst. We'll hope to see them next game. But a decent performance there. They'll have a few points. But on our north side, after those 4 teams holding the south side, make it 5, excuse me, it'll be our northern 4C, Twiggy, and Dominus of Viper Squadron. Completely in charge of the north. Nothing to their back like the Starks of Winterfell. We'll see if they can hold on to it.
Really good shots coming in on Flesh here. NIP eliminate 5 squads left. There is one solo still remaining, racking up some placement points. Noise just doesn't have an angle right now.
He's in that building, girl. Remember that one that the Bangalore smoked?
In the back, yeah.
Yeah, he's still there. It's a good rap play. He's gained a top 5, you know? And
that's
I think
4 points.
Yeah, that's 4 points. And this is sometimes the way that you have to do it. This zone is not going to be friendly to them, though. But I can actually think that there's just going to be so much here. Agmo Guanticus, as we mentioned from Red Fade, they're playing as a duo a lot today. And I don't know if this is because they are a duo and landing in as a duo, or if there's a trio about to join them a little bit later who can't make it. It's got a brunch on a Saturday, you know, can't get out here yet. But it looks like this may be the end. It was a good adjustment. It was almost like I knew you were coming for me, so I switched spots. But I think Emo Guanticus has seen his last shield battery for now.
Unless he hits the biggest grapple of his life. Oh, with the master shot slide. It's not going to be enough, though. It's not. It's 4 squads remaining. Everyone's full, but take a look at Viper Squadron. They're all 1 HP right now. I don't know what's going on over there, but PMN, they don't got themselves a good spot. It's all up to Perry. Last one remaining for his squad. He's got nowhere to hide, nowhere to run. He's 1 HP. Can he survive right beside this rock for a moment if nobody sees him?
And it's mayhem at the production yard, and the foreman knows it. It's time to go ahead and sort this out and get it all under contract, because this has to have a rhythm. It has to have a purpose. We're not just out here wasting our time, and Viper Squadron in that role so effortlessly clean up the remaining squads. It is We Don't Play who took game 1, but it is Viper Squadron who respond just like that and say, no, we are at the top of EU.
You lined this story up really well. You're like, hey, Viper Squadron and Qualls, they got the most points. Where are they at? They didn't perform as well as we'd hoped in game number 1, and they took the win, but they took the win with so many kills as well.
It's fun. It's fun to see the way that they really responded, girl. And I think it's like those two teams are running into each other. You know, We Don't Play. They didn't technically take the win with that win to VXTG Ara, but it's essentially the spiritual win, so to speak, because those are the two teams at the top of the totem pole that need to be usurped if we're going to start talking about other squads. TXT's been in the running. They've been close. We've seen other teams kind of have a conversation with them, but it has really been Viper Squadron and We Don't Play, who again and again and again in these master circuits have just been the top 2 teams, and they have been pulling on levers. They have been giving heavyweight blows back and forth, and now it is setting us up for a great final 3 games here with Viper Squadron just responding. 4C, Twiggy, and Dominus. I mean, it was a great performance, but I just think they were in the best spot too, girl, in production yard. It looked like they just had no one really to worry about until that final circle, and then they just fought in front of them, which is a dream.
And personally, I think that they've had a lot of experience. I feel like they've put in the work and put in the time to play ranked, because they look so comfortable while playing. Hey, they had an unfortunate first game, but it was still 7 points, which is quite a bit when thinking of how many points you really need to get to that first or second place. Staying consistent, not getting any 0-point games, that's really important. And then coming up in second place with a win. I wonder how many kills that they had. I'm sure they had a big game.
And it does seem like you're right. Even though they didn't get into that first, second place, We Don't Play, I think, dropped out in 12th. And I think that was a big sign that this wasn't the game that they were looking for. Yeah, Viper Squadron having that 7-8 on top of whatever this was going to look good. Yeah, but Amogwanagus, got to give him a big shout. I think came in 4th place, maybe 5th or 4th place after a really nice solo effort from Red Fade. Ziggly was definitely involved in those final fights, and you can see was putting on the pressure until it became Viper Squadron versus We Don't Play. This was the turning point. Who would climb to the top of the mountain? Both would, and it would be who would fall first. And this was the moment right here from Rom Plays. Gets the scan off and drops. Now is isolated. Doesn't understand who he's shooting first. The target swap is too late, and the 2 wingman shots do not connect. And that puts Viper Squadron at a 3v2. And you can see Namka running away and just trying to buy some time. That would be 7th place if they would go out. Or excuse me, 12th place if they would go out. But here was the final zone that would be all Viper Squadron, girl.
Yeah, and unfortunately for We Don't Play, I just feel like they were shooting at different legends. They weren't as coordinated in that Horizon queue that they didn't expect. So they'll get them next time. 5 squads left, Viper Squadron. As you said, they just positioned themselves so well. Everyone else fought. They came in, they took the kills, and then they easily took the dub right afterwards. They just had 1 more player left to kill. That's minimum 6 kills.
Minimum. Add 2 more, right? Add 2 more because there were 2 players down. So, yeah, that's 9. So, they had a whole 3 not on the boards. That's a good 21-pointer. So that will definitely put them in about, I think, 28 points on the day so far. And assuming that We Don't Play maybe had 3, I think they'll be in around the 20, maybe 20, 21. So they should have a 7-8 point lead, I think, up on top. Viper Squadron definitely in the deserved position for that. They have bounced back. What will Game 3 hold? That's what I want to know. We see somebody rise from the ashes that has not been performing well. We see We Don't Play answer back just as easily. VTXG, Aura, I would have loved to see them a little bit more in Game 2 to have a bit of a bigger storyline for them, girl. Maybe just had a better rotate in Game 1 than they did in Game 2, but certainly kind of disappeared on our radar there.
Yeah, and I think that might be Azrael from PMB from last season as well. So they did a few switch-ups on teams. Some people left some teams, but they're all still in the same circuit. So that's nice to see. Don't remember how well they did, but Viper Squadron, yep, with the win of game number 2. It should even out the leaderboard, and I can't wait to see what the next map has in store for us. VTXG 32.
Wow. Did we miss the standings for Game 2? I think we went into overall standings because I don't see... they must have had a couple of points or a couple of elims that we didn't know about because they have definitely had a strong performance. They also could have been one of those top 5 teams that we were not covering while we were looking at Viper Squadron. And our good friend on the Pathfinder, Amarguanicus. But there you have it there. Legends of Apex, Hakeem's RGB, Deja Vu FPS, Elite, Sick Elite Team Raw, rounding out our bottom 17 in our lobby. Well, girl, it was a great game so far. Game 2 has given us a lot of storylines to bring into Game 3. One thing, though, we do want to make sure you are aware of is check out Warrior Week. That's right. If you don't know what Warrior Week is, it's a 7-day live streaming event benefiting the injured veterans whom WWP serves. Streamers come together in honor of Veterans Day to raise awareness and critical funds so that WWP can provide life-changing programs to wounded warriors and their families. You can register today at tiltify.com/WWP/warrior-week-2022. And a great thing about this, I heard they were looking for $130,000 total. I think they're already around 120 something raised. An incredible goal and so far accomplishment from what they've done there with Tiltify as well. So make sure to check that out. Register today. Also, we want to give you a big shout out to check out compete.playstation.com because that's where all this stuff happens. That's where you're watching this show. It all originates from there and it all starts from there. So make sure to check out whether it's a tournament you want to get involved in, cash prizes along the way, or whether you and your friends just want to take it to the next level in terms of competing for real. Check out compete.playstation.com and keep track of all the things we've got going on with PlayStation Esports. I'm Rain Day. That's Girl. We'll be right back. Game 3 on the way. We are getting heated up here in the Masters Circuit. Day 1, a wild card just beginning. Welcome back to our PlayStation Master Circuit Wildcard. My name is Randy. I am joined by Girl, and it is an exciting Saturday to be watching some Broken Moon competitive Apex Legends. And for those who are competitive Apex Legends fans, it's been a heck of a week, hasn't it, Girl?
It really has been. So many tournaments back to back to back. We've got Pro League started. We've got the Master Circuit started. We've got so much action. And we've got a new map, a new season, a new rank grind, a new everything. So we're really blessed here if we're Apex Legends fans, as I am, and you are, and everybody watching.
Hey, you know, there could be somebody just scrolling by going, this game stinks, you know? I'm just kidding. I hope not. And if you are there, you know, hey, stay around. Watch the next 30 minutes. I'm going to change your mind, all right? That's my challenge to anybody who is still unsure about Apex Legends. No, it's getting to the point where I've you know, I'm playing some pickleball and enjoying my life, and they got some people coming up and going, yo, man, you know, great stuff this weekend. Great, you know, I'm a big Apex fan. I rock with this, you know, the Infam and this and that. I mean, Apex is really, I think, hit a tier of game that a lot of people know, and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I got to point this out, though, as we look at this. VTX Giara and Viper Squadron with the 2 wins. We don't play second place in that VTX Giara win, but check this out, 12 points in the last game. VTX Giara ended that first game with 20 points. They now have 32, and they got 12 points last game. So that they are performing extremely well. Although we didn't have eyes on them, and although we probably missed them in the shuffle of that final game 2, they must have been alive in that top 5, and they must have gotten a few kills before falling out. So this is a great opportunity to set up now the trifecta. The 3 storylines colliding. We've got, you know, the team from the east, let's just say, just coming in from that east side of the map, and maybe it's We Don't Play, rocking it strong. We've got Viper Squadron from the north, really deciding that this is our day. We may not have performed well. TX, you know, We Don't Play. You had the high ground, but we will take the high ground from you if we have to do it ourselves. And then we've got the team from the south, maybe a little bit, you know, unaware that they're still in the contention because they're so far away from the north and the east. They're doing their battle, but south slowly but surely creeping ahead, setting up their battalions, their resources, their opportunity to strike. And it is VTX Giara who have still found themselves after 2 in front of both of those teams. So I cannot wait to see, will we have a 4th contender arise, Girl? Or will one of these teams really make a splash and separate themselves from the pack here in Game 3?
Really, honestly, depends on where the map pulls, it seems, because some teams just do better on the north end, some teams do better on the south end. It's up to a team that's just overall consistent and can perform no matter where the map pulls for them to end up winning this one out. So as we go into Broken Moon, we might see another contest there at Alpha Base with TXC and Hakim's. It's tough to contest off a drop, though. It definitely shows on the standings that, hey, you know, you got contested. You're probably not going to go for a top 3 finish at the end of the day.
Well, that is something that I think TXC has got to consider, and all of these teams now. You're getting into the middle of the marathon, and this is where you have to keep pace or increase your pace. If you simply go ahead and take risks now, you're going to set yourself up for maybe an untenable problem to be solved in games 4 and 5. There just may not be enough points to be made in order to catch these top teams. And I know that that's what Namkai Nuts, with Viper Squadron, Twiggy, and the squad. And I definitely know that is what VTX Giara, Azrael, Vertex, all are considering here. TXC still rocking with Shigum and Raymond and Munchie board on the Pathfinder, Horizon, and Bangalore. Anything that you noticed there, Girl?
No more Catalyst. We switched Catalyst up with Ash. And to be honest, I've been talking to a lot of people in my community. Ash is a legend that a lot of people are having fun with on this map.
Okay. Talk to me about I'm a big fan of meta discussions. And that's the way the meta shift, in my opinion. You know, somebody gets an idea, it kind of spreads like wildfire because a good idea is the most powerful thing in the world, right? It's impossible to stop. And I think that is where maybe have we forgotten about Ash?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see much Ash being played within the last week, but it's really nice to see Legends of Apex play Ash again here today. I did have a teammate that enjoyed playing Ash when I was playing a duos tournament the other day. Ash is great for getting out of sticky situations, getting into a high ground. There's so much things that you can do with Ash, especially if you catch someone with her arc snare in the open as well. If you're really good with those arc snares and you catch someone off guard, I know that happened to me in a pub the other day, and I got a little cranky after that. I got a little salty.
Little cranky, huh?
A little salty, but yeah, the arc snare is really good. And the Ash portals, they seem to do the trick on this map, especially there's such high verticality. I feel like Ash is a legend that could really be discovered more in this map in particular.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly does seem that way. Ash is a legend that I thought when first coming out had a great moment, you know, kind of overtook Wraith after some significant Wraith nerfs, and, you know, brought the exact kind of style of play that I think people could easily visualize how to do it. You know, instant TP, you know, aggress. But I feel like, you know, what is there something missing here? Could she fit in with what has only become just as aggressive or more of an aggressive meta with these characters like Horizon, with Seer, who maybe weren't as prevalent when Ash was in her time? Maybe Ash can fit in. Maybe we'll find a way. It certainly is good team mobility, and it certainly is good high ground mobility, which you may need in certain spots like this. Oh my God, open the door, say hello. This is why you lock them at home, ladies and gentlemen, because you never know what might just happen here with a pilot's knife in a car. Munchie Board came ready to deliver damage. Big shot. You know he wants this last one. It's not going to be it. It's going to be the bleed out. Raymond will help finish that off as Akeems is eliminated. TXC win their other fight yet again. And they are not going to change anytime soon, are they, girl? They're just going to team fight every single drop, and they do not mind.
Gives them a lot of good practice to get on the same page in a lot of 3v3s, and that's just going to make them better players overall over some time. But there is a reason why teams don't typically take 50-50 contests in the high leagues. But right now, 2 Minute Esport, they're taking a 3 versus 2, and Ra is eliminated yet again. They're not having a great tournament thus far. I think they've been getting eliminated early each and every game we've had already. So I don't know what needs to be changed for them. Maybe drop location, maybe the legend swap, but you know, whatever they're doing is not working out for them just yet. BOTY, they've lost a number. They're now in a 3v2 or a 2v3 situation. Oh no, Grubby taking all of that damage too early. Carnova coming in, taking another kill point. That's We Don't Play coming in. Horizon ulti's not going to do much because Carnova's going to easily eliminate that Horizon in the air. 30 flash, and this should be a finish, a team wipe in a second. BOTY eliminated, and We Don't Play. They have a good start.
Not in my house. We don't play. Taking Slight to the ending and the fight engagements that had happened with Viper Squadron. They had to sit a lot of that last map out, and they are taking it out in this game 3. Watch out for them. 13 squads left. 4 have been eliminated so far. And you did mention the issues of teams dropping, and that is where most of our teams have been eliminated. Half, at least, from these first early 4 have been sharing drop zones with the likes of 2 Esports, with the likes of TXC, 2 Minute Esports, excuse me. And Bionomics may not be where we want to see a dual landing. The Foundry looks to be open. Breaker Wharf, both on the very southern, southwest, and northwest sides of the map, seem to be open in terms of landing zones. So maybe something to consider moving forward, as you had mentioned, girl. But Legends of Apex, they have lost the Ash. They are rocking the Loba. PMN, though, in the midst of an engagement. Exhibit comes out. Footsteps will be revealed, and that's an easy missile swarm just to try to get a little tactical damage. It will not hit. Buy some time, some spacing. Is this enough to punish, though? The peak gets the job done on a Matty Fonzie, and even though the damage is returned from Perry, it is just not enough to have gotten the trade. And so PMN will fight now with 2. They've got good angles, though. Consistent damage will most likely dissuade a full push for now, but it is just time not on their side. They've got to get Matty back up.
I love what Perry's doing here, utilizing the cover, peeking, shooting, doing some damage, really good aim as well. checking both sides. They get the revive off too. Madi's going to go for a full Phoenix kit. And it looks like PMN's going to retreat down low from the low ground. And it's looking like they're going to be okay. Maddie Fonzie did not get caught out. So that was some great cover fire from them, keeping it under control, might I say. PMN doing a great job at that.
Ooh, TXC, and up on your northern side of this zone, you can see TXC and We Don't Play actually about to run into each other. Raymond is split away from Shagum. I don't know if we could check in on that action, because that seems like a very important fight that is about to be going on near the core, right underneath Alpha Base. Meanwhile, we are checking in with Color Bucket, who continually showing us why that G7 Scout is good and is taking a visit to the replicator. Of course, we'll let you in on the impact of that TXC We Don't Play interaction. Here it is right here. You can see Shagum running away. Two big teams here. Neither of them really want to lose this girl. They've got a lot to play for. Either of them going down here would be disastrous.
Well, someone might go down here because both of these teams have the confidence and the aggression. But TXC, they're utilizing the cover well. They're rotating well. They're utilizing the zip line, as we were talking about earlier. They did not get beamed this time around, and it looks like they're going to be safe for now. We Don't Play. I don't know if they're going to pressure them or
there's another
continue
team
to
coming
push.
in.
Yeah, there's a third party coming in, and as soon as they get sights of that third party, I don't think that they'll continue with this.
So many of these teams have wasted resources fighting each other before the top 10. That's what we saw with Viper Squadron and We Don't Play do in game number 2. Will they do it again? Obviously, you don't know, but it's the aggressiveness and the willingness to fight that we see. If you get engaged with TXC, they're not going to back off. They might back up, but they're not going to back off. They're not going to back down. And I think that's the difference here. You have to pick your battles wisely, because if you get a team that is all in on committing to that fight, you have more to lose than them. We Don't Play. TXC is saying, that's fine. We've got a lot to gain. Hanging on with this high ground, it is going to be impossible to approach. Still, though, on the backside is We Don't Play. And soon, gatekeeping is going to take its place. They've got 2 minutes left for this zone. But they will have to move. They will have to aggress onto each other somehow or the other if they want to get away. And it might just be biding their time. Mr. Carnova and them saying, we are not going to play this game. We know what position we're in, TXC. We don't have to worry about you.
Using the zip rails to make that rotation. Better than walking on the low ground like last time. PMN doing good damage with the R301 parry. Getting that thirst. King Stefan's going to go down. They're not going to end up chasing, but oh, does he get that armor swap off? I think he did. I think he saved Maddie's 1 HP. Noise is also very, very low. Perry ended up going down on that armor swap. Unfortunate. Wasn't fast enough. And TXC's coming on in to the action as well. Everyone's here. Everyone's meeting up in this choke point.
And it's perfect for We Don't Play, because they stayed where they were. And in fact, TXC and this entire choke is now away from where the zone is pulled. It's over to the east near Stasis Array. That is going to be where the final zone is. So We Don't Play happy about that. They are going to be having an uncontested zip rail into a skyward dive to get on the backside of that. But TXC now in the midst of a few teams who have been engaged. They seem like maybe it is not worth it yet again. Oh, will we see this be worth it, though? The RE45 with disruptor rounds.
Oh, yeah. It is one of the strongest weapons that they've got right now. So I'm sure they will not lose a 3v3 going into that, but they could always get third-partied. Twiggy, nice shots with the R301. Viper Squadron being dominant as ever. The headfire shots are not all connecting, unfortunately, though. He goes down. Throkey goes down, though. They get the trade. That's what they needed, but is there a team nearby to third-party this fight?
And you can see Flojo goes down. Throkey goes down. It's more than a trade. It is essentially just one player remaining for 2 Minute Esports, and that was a really good performance from them. I think it's Nero who is able to make it out. Won't be able to grab those banners yet again. Moments where the crypto would have helped, but not going to be impacted here as round 2 is about to close. And that was a fight near Terraformer on the southern side of things. So now Viper Squadron able to move with their clear back and straight into zone. They will run into a team who's already positioned there, but they'll have plenty of options to get in there safely, as Nero just going to hope to rat it out here for a little bit. And actually will find himself in a decent spot for now. 11 squads remaining here as round 2 is about to close. And if you want to have somebody on the rat, it's actually really nice to have the Seer girl with that passive.
Yeah, and I hope he keeps scanning if he's going to go further into that zone, because he will encounter a few squads on that side. There are 4 squads on the northeastern side, all behind that building. But wow. Nero, he's deciding to go another route, which is actually really good for him. He's going in a route no one's traveled. And TXC, where are they here on the map? They might actually contest near Promenade against HKE. So they've got to be careful here with this 3v3. Promenade, a lot of people are scared of going to Promenade, so it actually makes it easier for teams to fight here. If everyone else is traversing on the outer edge of the map, they might have a clean fight. Bangalore ult going through. They see, ooh, they see a hit. That's 40 damage, but not only 40 damage, does a stun, and it blurs the vision of the enemy team as well. So Munchie gonna go throw a nade there.
Good nade. Kind of.
Will it hit? Yeah, they got him before it even hit.
Wow.
Eno Paulino goes down, and this is gonna open it up for the push. RE45. You cannot lose a 1v1 with the RE45. We're gonna say it right now. Oh no, they're just gonna go for the thirst. They're not even gonna chase. Oh, here comes the chase. Oh, Horizon ult came in though. He's got to do
left side.
Be able to see through everything.
Woo!
Shots are not going to connect though, as they're using a head glitch inside. This is dangerous.
Absolutely. That's where you wish you kind of had that grenade there, and I get the reason to use it beforehand. But without looting and kind of taking this fight very, very quickly, maybe restocking, grabbing 1 or 2 more, because that defensive position is so smart. And Apex backing up, letting your teammates go down, sure, but then saying, if you're going to push us, you're going to actively have to push us either as a full 3 or you're going to take a disadvantage in that push. That's the only way you can fight from a 2 in a position like this. So hats off to them on the defensive side, the team that they were pushing on, making the right call strategically to at least extend this fight a little bit more. And that's what that's where the magic happens. You don't know if another team is hearing this fight and might be able to third party here. We certainly do know that TXC is going to have to make a decision. They try to go for the banner. They banner camped it. Brilliant. TXC. They saw it coming. The other team was playing checkers. They were playing chess. And that is checkmate.
Raven's going to be angry after that one. TXC, I can't believe they go for the S-tier banner camp in a tournament. You know, you got to do everything to get that extra point because, hey, at the end of the day, 1 point can truly matter and can differentiate yourself from first, second, and third. So playing it safe, making sure that they're not getting eliminated themselves as teams just drop in the kill feed. And they've already made top 10 at ease. Got a mobile res beacon as well. Trying to look for some rat spots in the trees. In Kings Canyon used to be able to do that. Hide in the trees. Not sure if you could do that. I've never seen anyone do that yet on this map. Oh, and we've gotten more S tier camping. Sekeli in a good spot.
I believe we do have our leaders of the day alive and well. We haven't seen them in this game yet again. They're hiding, but they are alive. AXTG Yara. I've seen Azriel on this kill feed just a moment ago. Shagoom takes down Afghan, who was playing the Catalyst earlier today. Now is on the Ash. Must have gotten revived and gotten back up. At TXC, we have followed along with them. Fan favorites for a long time here in our first 2 seasons of the Master Circuit. They made adjustments today to their squad. We don't know if this is a full season adjustment, but Sarah Sutcliffe not on the squad. They've been testing out new members. Famously, kind of a boyfriend-girlfriend couple there with her and Raymond, and it worked really, really well to put them on the map. They've made some adjustments to get better, and that's always a team that is dangerous. When you're willing to give up a good thing to try to get it to the next level, that means that you are willing to do anything in your path to go for greatness, and that is what I love witnessing here. Maddie Fonzie and Noise maybe in a little bit of trouble. Perry already inside for PMN. With the Volt and the Digi threat, going to do wonders against these Bangalore squads, which are mounting up the numbers here with 6 squads left remaining. Is she trying to push around the corner as well? But Perry and PMN just holding this angle so nicely. Lloyd on the fuse, going to get taken down as well. It's just Ishii in the corner. And as she rotated, yes, the Horizon has done the damage. And is there another team coming in? Yep, Mr.
Yes.
Namka as well. And so this is not looking good. PMN going to have to go out. It seemed like a 3v3 they were about to win, but PMN will fall thanks to We Don't Play coming in to steal the day.
We Don't Play has been playing perfectly. They've been so patient in the rotation, as we saw earlier. They did not take those early game fights. Instead, they ended up going shopping, grabbing a Kraber for themselves. Why not? And coming in for another third party. Look at the amount of kill points that they have. They came in for those perfect third parties. They made sure not to take a 3v3 in the end zone, and they came in and cleaned up. Janitor squad over here. We Don't Play. 4 squads remaining. There's a duo in this lobby.
I got a hooligan over here.
They've got a decent spot. They're looking around to see which rocks they want to play, what's going to be playable for the future. I don't know if this is the best rock to play because it's kind of on the low ground. So they're doing the scouting right now.
And that's the right way to do it. Absolutely finding themselves in great opportunities. Will they take advantage of it? It is Viper Squadron, it is TXC, it is We Don't Play. Viper Squadron and We Don't Play next to AXTG are the top 3 teams here, both vying for wins, both trying to start this Master Circuit wildcard after being rivals over the first 2 seasons and Grand Finals in the way that puts them on top and sends a message. But TXC, with their new roster, can they somehow hold on to the top spot? NIP, that is it. They are out. So it is just the 3 teams that we have been talking about the most here. Carnova with the shot, lines it up, and it's it. It's 140. What are they going to do off of this? They've got the Horizon. They know the Valkyrie has to either drop, certainly cannot peek after that, with only maybe 95 to the health, and that is it. We Don't Play her making a move, girl.
Yeah, she went down. They actually team shot her, so that Kraber did just enough damage to get him down. Dominus is going to end up getting thirsted. 3 squads remaining. TXC, they're still in this. They've got a knock on 4C already. They're just going to heal up full. They don't want to commit too much to anything until they get Krabered. We're going to go for the revive, but it's not a gold bag revive. They're also going to get Horizon ulti. It's going to go off, though. Are they going to be safe? No, they're getting shot from the angle. Namka taking a good angle. We Don't Play absolutely sweeping the competition. I don't know if they're going to be able to be stopped at this amount of pressure. It's only Twiggy left remaining. Twiggy, congratulations on getting 2nd place because, hey, We Don't Play. They didn't come here to play. That's another win. That's a good win for them. That's going to put them in the leaderboards. Truly impressive gameplay. This game, they've played so exceptionally well. It's definitely one to watch and learn from.
And it's one to take note of for the rest of the lobby. We Don't Play is here. They have been in our final 3 multiple times, but now they are our final 1, and that is what a Battle Royale is all about. Randy and Girl back here on the mic on cam. What a Game 3 finish we just saw. We Don't Play in electrifying fashion. Get a Kraber in their hands, and it's night-night, Dominus. It is night-night, Viper Squadron. There's just no competing with the roller coaster of damage that was amongst their play. From the RE45 that Namka was rocking all game long to the banner camping and the pop-out hello surprise that they pulled. I mean, they have really put together a show for the ages in Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And the patience that they had versus TXC early game, we saw them at the core. Yep. They didn't take that fight. They decided to play edge, let TXC move on their way. That standoff was a few minutes at least, and they ended up making it third partying, playing it patiently. That Kraber shot as well, not shooting too early, waiting for his teammates to shoot as well. So, hey, we 3-2 this. It's an easy knock, and then they cleaned up 1 by 1. 1 knock by 1.
And that's the approach. That is the play. I want to, mention that I think Viper Squadron and TXC had interesting rotation paths. Viper Squadron, isn't that so interesting? You should have used the West because it was Viper Squadron who came from the South. It was TXC who came from the West, not the East. And And from the north, it was We Don't Play. And TXC and We Don't Play, they had that little moment, girl, where they were actually about to fight each other. And TXC backed off. TXC then started going downhill. They got involved. We Don't Play stayed on that north side, and they had no one to their back. And I think that's why when they finally engaged in this fight, they were just in the perfect position to be able to, to be able to make it happen. And I can see here, I mixed myself up here. It was TXC with that RE45 action and that hello surprise. I mean, they put together a great game as well for most of this.
Oh, absolutely. And PMN, I can't believe they survived up until this moment as well, because they were in that choke point earlier. I think they got the revive there, but hey, We Don't Play coming in to ruin the party. Party crashers over here. Cleaning up both teams. Not invited, but definitely showing up in some style. Taking down everybody. And then take a look at this. TXC, they're on the edge. They're making sure that they eliminate the duo and get those kill points and placement points as well. So that was really good from them. But it ended up being We Don't Play. That Kraber, just taking those initiations on all of the fight, getting that free knock, making it an easy 3 versus 2. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, just incredible stuff. Big shout-outs. I loved the way Mr. Nomka was playing. I love the aggressiveness. And I thought Carnova, just excellent work with the Kraber. I believe that was in Carnova's hands. And then you could just see the way that they put that together. Rom with the assists and the damage and really the accuracy for me. 67% accuracy. Not even sure how that's possible. But it's a heck of a game. 15 points added onto the 12. It's a 27-pointer. And that will certainly put them to the top of the leaderboards and put them in the winners category, which is, I know, what they care about most.
Yeah, they had a strong beginning and a consistent game, but then, hey, they finally got that first place instead of that second place in that first game. And that's going to put them to the top of the leaderboards at first place with 49 points. Viper Squadron not too far behind, 8 points behind them. VTXG, they're not going to be feeling good losing their first place. And take a look at the total points. They went far behind the others comparatively to what they were in our...
Where they were.
Yeah, game
they
two
had
leaderboards.
32. They had 32, so they got 4 points this last game.
They died 7th.
They died 7th. Okay,
so they had no kills.
Yeah, so that is one of those things that they're playing, I think, a strong money game. I think right now what they're going to have to do is put some wins together again, but they're placing high. As long as they keep placing well, it's going to be hard for any other team that's not TXC, that's not We Don't Play, and that's not Viper Squadron to catch them, girl, because, getting a win, I mean, that's the only thing that's really going to separate them from the rest of the pack if they just keep placing consistently. There's only 2 games now. So they've got, I think, a great playbook here, and this is something that RKN was going in about, and I think this is a good conversation. After the Guard won the Pro League on Thursday, I think this ideology of what makes a good leader, what makes a good Battle Royale kind of strategy is something that's always fascinated with me because you don't have the ability to plan and tactically actually know what you're getting into each game. So what you're doing is you're guaranteeing randomness, and the key is to minimize randomness. And that's something that he said that is kind of a tenet of Battle Royale. How do you lead your team so that you have the least surprising things continually happening so you can be the most consistent? And that's, at the end of the day, what wins. So VTXG Aura doing a really good job of, even if they're not blowing us out of the water, staying consistent. And that's a good sign for the rest of this Master Circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. And, minimizing randomness is putting yourself in good positions, knowing when to take a fight, when to not take a fight, pushing a team to create space. Sometimes you just got a third party to create that space to make it easier for those end game fights. And that's kind of what We Don't Play did in our last game is, hey, they didn't have to take that third party. But they did because they noticed that there were trades on both teams. They noticed that everyone was low. And eliminating 2 teams is just going to make the end game a lot more easier. So creating that open space for them to continue to play and have a easier win. And that's exactly what they did.
Well, we've obviously had a stunner of a start. We have seen every single team that had a chance to vie for supremacy here actually do it. So now we're getting into the final quarters. And, when you have 6 games, this would have been halftime. But because we have 5 games, this is pivotal. If you see Viper Squadron, if you see TXC, if you see We Don't Play, especially We Don't Play now with the lead out 7 points ahead of Viper Squadron and I think about 13 points ahead of TXC, you are now going to have to figure out if they win again, it's probably not going to be able to catch them in one game. So you've got to stop them if you're the rest of the lobby. Viper Squadron, you got to win if you want to put yourself back on top. TXC, you desperately need to win, and then you need to perform well in Game 5. And will there be any other storylines? We'll have to find out. But, I mean, girl, that's a lot to already juggle right there with our top 4.
It is indeed. And something I want to talk about is the contests. Like, is there a reason why a lot of pro teams, they have that Discord text channel to say, hey, I'm landing here, so you can cross it off. Like, you might want to land somewhere else. You might want to 50-50 and gain the spot. Right now, we're in the qualifiers. We're not in the playoffs. We're in our finals, but we're finals week 1. There's still going to be playoffs when everything is on the line. So you want to make sure you're getting the spot now rather than later, figuring out those things now. But it does hold you back on that rotation. It does minimize the loot that you're gaining because both teams in a fight are going to use ammunition. They're going to use their shield cells, their shield batteries. So leaving a small POI like Alpha Base, you might not have much left. So those kind of things you're going to have to take into consideration. Is this the game-winning play? Is this a playoffs final winning play? Is this going to guarantee you first and second place throughout the rest of the weeks because we've still got 3 more weeks to go?
Sometimes it's impossible to answer those questions, and that's where you have to take trust into your teammates. And one of the things I would love to bring to the PlayStation Master Circuit, it's difficult to do, but I think eventually where we'd love to have is take a listen-in opportunity here. Get some more of the voices and the communication of what's happening with these teams, because who's IGLing, who's in-game leading, who is supporting, who's in the fragging kind of role, who is really doing what, and how are they talking about this? It's like opening up the door to behind the, Roswell or Area 51 where, seeing aliens for the first time for real. And then you're like, whoa, this is a whole new, okay, I got to think about things differently now. It really is. It's a shocking change. And all these moments where, we're painting stories. We're talking about, this is what they could be doing. They are having these in-depth conversations, as you know, girl. And it determines the entire game. I mean, really, this conversation could be the difference between whether they take this spot or that spot, whether they contest this team or not. And that's what I think is so interesting, that, yes, we're not able to necessarily capture in all moments, just the nature of online broadcast. But I'd love to see that brought in, and I get your thoughts on just listen-ins and the value that they bring in for kind of understanding what these teams are trying to do. Yeah,
exactly. Listen-ins can bring so much to the table, can help you learn, like, the thought process of any team that you're watching. Do they like rotating early? Why aren't they taking a fight? Why are they taking the fight? That's kind of how you get to learn about other teams and their play styles and how you can also become a better player. So definitely a good thing to do. And right now we're getting into game, and we're going to see. Are they going to 50-50 contest? My guess is yes, they will.
Well, if you want to not have TXC win, then you probably shouldn't. But if you want TXC to win, keep on going, because it's 9 points that they've gotten from early fights every single game. And if you continue that over the course of these next 2 games, that is 15 points they are going to have just for free. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're still involved. That's why they're one of the reasons why they are having the confidence to take these fights. One of the reasons why I think the leaderboards are so tight right now. So it is up to the lobby. Are you going to keep it tight? Or are you going to try to fight for yourself here? You're going to hand a little bit more over to TXC. We shall see as the legend picks come out, girl. What are we looking at here?
Well, we're looking at some Sears, Pathfinder, Fuse. No one's really switching up their groove too much, as I can tell. We've got a Caustic on FPS Elite. Team Raw do have a team of 3 with Fuse as well. What else do we've got? No, same old, I feel like. Bangalore's in play. Bangalore's been strong on this map. Do you feel like Broken Moon and Storm Point are very similar in a way?
Yeah. Oh, very much so. I mean, I think you could make a claim that World's Edge and Kings Canyon are the maps that are the biggest difference from each other, right? The first map that they made and then the second map that they made. And these maps, I feel like when you look at the last two maps that they've made, have a lot of similarities in terms of size. And you look at even Olympus too, like there's kind of, I think, a theme of the way the new maps feel and the size and the POIs, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely think so. And I'm wondering if they're going to go back to the World's Edge theme, because that's what really worked competitively over the years. That's what people have been enjoying, and
that's true.
Working out in the competitive aspect. But the reason why I mention it is because Bangalore's been used in Stormpoint previously, and we're seeing Bangalore used again here. So it feels like people are using the same competitive meta styles in Stormpoint and Broken Moon. And take a look at this 50-50 contest. Oh, is this Hakim's? Yep. They're contesting another POI. And like you said earlier, Promenade, Breaker Wharf, Terraformer even. Terraformer has enough loot for 3 squads. No one has chosen to land there this time around.
Bionomics has been a big fight. 2 Minute Esports continuing their fight as well. At Bionomics, Hakim's. They look like they are in an engagement here. It's just... that's Deja Vu.
Deja Vu eliminated. So Hakim's finally getting a good start to the game.
Whew. That has got to feel like they have really, really earned it. And definitely will put them in a position for a great time. This is one of those buildings I actually talked about a lot. One of the things they said that they changed here in the design of this map is how easy it is to kind of have a head glitch and hold these top sides of these cylindrical buildings that you're seeing in the POV of Oguanikis right now, and that's exactly what's gatekeeping them. A charge rifle from the very top of that. The designer said they actually took away some of the foliage, which made it very, very difficult to see in that direction, but you could still see, even if you can see, almost impossible to get enough shots or get enough vision of a body or a hitbox to really be able to fight this. So one of the strongest points to hold, unless you yourself are on one of those points. And I like the decision there from Emma Guanikis. Let's even up the playing field, loot up a little bit, get a blue shield hopefully, and fire back from a safer spot.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just looking for some more loot. They're not quite comfortable in fighting yet. TXC have found Hakim's again? Is this what I'm seeing? Am I seeing this right? TXC don't like Hakim's very much. They're always finding them, and they're always hunting them down. I'm not 100%. Yep, this is Hakim's.
Yep.
I verified it on my map, and it might be a TXC Hakim's fight. Now, can Hakim's turn it around? Because they had time to loot. They did already get a team wipe. And TXC is on double white and a blue. Munchie going to pop those shield cells. Found one of those broken blues left over that Hakim's left for them. Yep. There's a little present.
But, little something.
A little something.
I love the approach that they've got. 2 Minute Esports following along with them for a moment, but TXC just always willing to fight, always on the route. They take the game. They take their play to the game, and I really love teams who do that. And I think, you know, you at least keep fate in your own hands. You know, you don't let these circumstances go. And I think if you continually do that, it is a way to minimize RNG, right? Because, you know, you're always kind of the ones who will be aggressing. Even if your aggression is wrong, you can work on how should you have aggressed better, but you're the one who's kind of setting the terms of engagement. So it's really more about constructing that. 2 Minute Esports, though, versus RGB. What do we see here? Throwkey and Nero. Nero going down. It's just going to be up to Throwkey. They've already gotten Color Bucket down. And that is a really good Bangalore ultimate. It's going to buy a little bit of time. There won't be any revives there easily. And I think Throwkey can definitely sense that there's going to be a 1v1 coming up. Can he do something? Yes! And it's 1 smoke left. So that is going to be able to 2 smokes, actually. Maybe buy just a little bit more time. Hit a med kit. Do it, Young Gunna. Could this be it? You know they can hear it from above. Pathfinder going for the finish. It's going to be 30. Oh, my God, and in the smoke, they can't find it. Pathfinder looking to hunt down the last member of 2 Minute Esports. And he will.
No!
Oh, it's Assassin. And it's no Amoguanakis who will take the kill, having grabbed 5th place for his squad on the solo play. It is Amoguanakis who cleans up 2-minute esport for Red Fade. Wonderful performance there from them.
Seeing him survive for so long with 1 HP was making me root for him. But they are actually getting third party by, is it Viper Squadron coming on in for some kill points? It looks like Viper Squadron has taken one of them down, and Amoguanakis is going to have to survive alone. Space going for that ulti. 2 of them alive, I believe. So banner retrieval might not happen. We're going to have to wait and find out to see for that, but Viper Squadron always coming in for those third parties. You see all these top teams that we've been watching, they know when to take advantage of third parties. Well,
TXC here. With 15 squads left, we are in game 4 of our Master Circuit, and we are heating up, to say the least. It's been a great showcase in Europe. They have all started off blazing, and it feels like it's definitely been something that's been building. Girl, I think that's one of the biggest testaments of the development of this circuit and this ecosystem. It's that we are really seeing 2 and 3 teams who have created a narrative over 2, now the 3rd season, popping off, growing, becoming better, making roster adjustments, fighting it out in a more competitive way. And I just think that goes to show how important it is to have, whether it's on PlayStation, whether it's anywhere, be building these competitive and yet community-oriented esport opportunities for young and rising players and stars to compete and really showcase what they have.
oh yeah, absolutely. Showcasing what they have, and they've got a lot of talent. They surely do. We've seen it in every single team fight. Every team has a unique sense of play style. They all have different metacoms. Everyone's kind of playing their own game. They don't just watch a streamer and be like, hey, this is what we got to do. They play, they figure it out along the go over these qualifiers. They've been doing a great job of it. And they've even been swapping teams, trying out different people to play with and seeing what works best for them. Sometimes you just gotta choose another team if it's not working well in the dynamic that you have already. You try and try and try again, hopefully, before you give up. You don't just give up after one bad tournament.
Oh, come on, why not? No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think you know that's what really becomes the difficulty and the challenge and the interest of all competition, right? You know, how do you tweak it the right way? Who do you keep? And there's this extra special element of who is the core. And when you see teams like, let's even go to NRG, right, who is this season having a pretty good start to the season, a lot of conversation on, you know, are they going to be a team to compete for that final prize? Will they lift the trophy up yet again with Sweet and Nathan bringing together, you know, that kind of core to it, adding Gildersons? Who can you add and who can stay there as your core that whenever you add someone makes that player better, can teach Gildersons or whoever it is here? Maybe it's TXC and Raymond, right? Adding Shigum. Who can make that player better every time so that it's not just going into an environment where you are the key for the team. It's that key is also the team's ability to lead and grow and make decisions and make you even better now that you're a part of it. And that's that synergy that really creates championship-type performances and squads. And so I'm looking at a couple of these teams, seeing, you know, what can Raymond do this season? You know, what can we see Viper Squadron, you know, having stuck together this season, continue to do? Dominus, Twiggy, and Forsey, how can they build on what they've done already? And, you know, we don't play as well. How can they just stay consistent? How can they, we know they can win. We know they can drop 30 bombs. Can they continue to do it week in and week out? That's what I'm looking at for teams this season. It's going to be really fun watching to see how well or how not well they do.
Oh, the beams coming in from Perry. That's someone I would definitely want on my team and to help me excel in my games as well. Just having that confidence in those beams surely is an attribute to the team. But yeah, as you were talking about NRG earlier in Sweden, if they can hold that trophy up, Well, I was watching Sweet the other day, and I really enjoy the talks about after the game, they've done something wrong. They go into VOD review mode. They have a discussion. They go back and forth. I love the vibes going in, and I just love how everyone's got an input. It's not just one way or another. Sweet's like, hey, I think maybe this could have been better for us. And Nathan's been, hey, yeah, I think you're right. And also, let's take a look at this moment, right? And those are the things that teams do behind the scenes just to get better. And that's great when you have a team like that that are open to conversation and that are kind of like-minded and think the way you do, but not only think the way you do, but they can spot other things that you're not thinking of, and that's just what helps makes each individual a better player overall.
Sure. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Just spotting things you're not thinking of, bringing a different perspective, but being in alignment of where you're going. That's what I think, people don't get about relationships, whether it's in-game, whether it's, real relationships in life, whether it's, relationships with teammates. It's like you don't want the same person. You don't want the same idea, because then you are robbing yourself of 2 or 3 different perspectives that one might be right today, the other might be right in another situation. But what you do want is alignment of where you're going, and that's the key. I think a lot of people try to see what's the perfect puzzle piece that's going to look just like me and be exactly like me, and I'll have, no adjustments whatsoever to them. And, in all facets of life, I just think it's more of a naive sentiment. And I think when you really get to it, it's like the best relationships I've seen competitively in real life, they all bring something different to the table from each other, but they have the same sense of purpose. And that's what's exciting. That's what makes those conversations interesting for all involved, because you're like, oh, yeah, I wasn't looking at it that way. You're right, and I think that's where real growth comes from. So really cool insight from you to bring that about NRG. And, that's the kind of thing that if you're ALGS or an Apex Legends fan and you just want to soak up what's happening competitive, stay involved, stay in touch, follow the channels you're watching here on YouTube and twitch.tv/PlayStation and get connected, because there's really a lot to learn. And there's just it's almost, girl, wouldn't you say, as much as you want to get involved, the availability is there. Right, however much you want to choose into.
Wait, Randy, so you're saying if I clone myself 2 more times that I won't actually become a better player and have a strong team? Are you saying?
Essentially, yeah. But can you clone yourself? I think that's a better conversation. I'd like to know how you get that done.
I can't clone myself, but I always thought if I could, I would have a god squad.
No, I think you just argue with yourself. I think it'd be.
Enemy there.
PlayStation crew, thank you so much for hanging in with us while we fix that minor technical adjustment there, but we are all doing this from remote. We appreciate everybody involved and your patience. We are back in action. I know Girl's right on her way as well. But as we continue, where are we here? Hakeem's getting some kills, which we love to see, even though they've been chased down by TXC. We now have 11 squads remaining. Sick Elite fighting with the R301 and that 2-4 scope, which I love. Big fan of the 3x Ranger as well, but that does come in the replicator today, so they will have to spend some extra time and some resources to get to that. Not every team has had a chance to do it, and maybe Sickly has been caught up in fighting. You certainly could see the 3 kills to their name. That would make that very obvious, is Ishuri just holding down this corner and making sure that no one can flank them, and using that back to be right against the zone, knowing that's going to be the safest spot to hold. Up inside the zone, though, speaking of it, we have We Don't Play, and they're in an engagement right now. They've lost Ramo Plays, and this could be trouble. Viper Squadron is also in zone, even though this is more towards the edge of it, and it's going to be really tough for Namka. He's going to have to smoke this out. He will. He's going to smoke both doors here. Will that give them enough cover? Grenade could be deadly, especially an Arc Star in here. They have no way to defend against it, but luckily that doesn't come through, and Namka gets enough time and buys enough, makes enough of a threat with the smoke that there won't be a chance for them to try to push this. And Ramo Plays, can you believe it? Might have gotten to safety. This is incredible. Still 6 seconds for the next smoke. And just, excuse me, going to pressure from range, and that's kind of the benefit of showing presence. 92 damage. Nearly 100 damage on a player, and that's going to buy enough time for Ramo Plays to get back up, but it doesn't mean they're out of dodge yet. Of course, they're going to have to get through the team that seems to have a sniper angle onto them. Ishuri on Sickly, approaching the staircase, going to go straight to the high ground and use the gravity lift to make it simple. And they will take this spot again. 8 squads left. That was Akeems who was eliminated there. And we do find that this is getting closer and closer and closer. Ishuri and the rest of Sickly on top of one of those buildings. We've got Mr. Namka, Ramo Plays, and Carnova back up and ready to go. And they just may, if they take a zip line, zip rail to the left, run in to the building that we have seen Sickly hold. But Namka's already pushed forward. And guess what? That is going to put them right in the line of sight of TXC. And so we may just see Viper Squadron, TXC, and We Don't Play in yet another end zone. But let's talk about this. Azrael and Andre as well over on that northeastern side. They're involved too. So Sickly, We Don't Play, TXC, Viper Squadron.
BTXG?
Azrael, I believe that is BTXG.
Yeah.
I'm
as a duo.
not 100% sure, but I believe that is VTXG. So we have our top squads alive and well.
Wow. This is a nice end zone. The shots are hitting, but can Carnova survive as he goes down?
Beautiful.
Yes, they get 2 down. They just got to survive. No one should be able to get knocked here. It should be a clean wipe. Let's get an armor swap if we can.
A little gold.
Nice. Good shots. Lloyd going down, and that's Kelly. 4 squads remaining. VTXG still as a duo.
Look at that, though. Girl, just that, I just want to, you know, that they were getting pushed, throw the smoke down, just that instant cover, just discourages TXC from pushing into that. You just talk about the Bangalore value, and sometimes it's just so great in these, like, fight resets.
Oh, absolutely. Bangalore ulti, too. He's holding it. It looked like he wanted to throw it, but no. They got enough for free, so Dominus gonna go down. The Arc Stars, the nades, though, are they gonna be able to survive all of this? They do throw ulti, but they throw it behind them so they don't get third party. Get a shield battery off. Yes, we can. Munchie's gonna do it. Everyone's gonna pop a shield battery right now.
Wow.
So much is falling.
DXC and Viper Squad are getting caught up. Maybe a little bit of horse blinders here, just focusing on the fight. Meanwhile, We Don't Play. They're actually rotating all the way to the north side. They got away from this fight, and they actually are trying to take down the 2 members of VTXG who are still alive, Andre and Azrael, who are actually the only ones in the zone right now. Meanwhile, Viper Squadron eliminated because they've been fighting TXC, and so that's huge for TXC in this end game, and it's terrible for Viper Squadron, who have fallen by the wayside over the last 2 games, and We Don't Play, the ones getting out in front, are still alive. Azrael looks to maybe go down here. Ramo Plays, not wanting to let him out of his sights, but it's going to slide behind the rock and put a top 3, and We Don't Play with their backs to this top 3, excuse me, to the wall, facing the top 3. Going to feel very, very comfortable here. Seer, focus of attention, should just clean this last one up, and it will be a 2-team fight, a 3v3. TXC versus We Don't Play. Can Shigum reintroduced into this squad, make the difference here. We don't play go up, but where will they land? Raymond falls from Namka Girl, and it is going to be Carnova, who like a carnivore smells that the prey is close by in the smoke. Can't quite see it, but using the senses of the hunt to clean it up and say, we don't play. They take game 4 and certainly are looking like they could be our champions here in Europe.
Back-to-back wins. Let's go. I wonder what made them decide to go for that zone. I think they wanted to play it safe. They wanted to ensure that they win this game, and then they found that duo. Easy team wipe there, but I want to give VIP to Mr. Namka for getting that entry. They barely took any damage. Raymond down just like that. Mr. Namka doing that work, making sure that they could easily win that fight. But seriously, to whoever the IGL is, props to you for helping the team get back wins. Incredible.
I've seen this happen. I mean, exactly. We got to figure out, this. But what is Raymond doing? I would imagine Raymond is IGL, because Raymond has kind of been around this team for the longest and has had several connections, within the way that they're structured. But I think that decision to just rotate on the outside, just to get involved. TXE and Viper Squadron, they cannibalized each other. They just fought each other, and We Don't Play was involved in that mess, and then they just skirted around, and they ended up facing VTXG. They got 2 extra KP, they got an extra placement point, but then they had the God Spot, and the teams after they fought were beleaguered. They were out of resources, and they were not ready for that full fight. And I think that's just one of the things that, you're right, has set We Don't Play apart. Their decision-making in these final thirds has been phenomenal.
You'd imagine TXC would have the advantage there because they just came to third party and, the fight didn't even finish fully, and they should have had the initial shots onto We Don't Play. That's what I personally thought happened, that they got the initial shot, but Raymond, I don't know what happened, went down like a fly, and they ended up losing that fight. So
maybe they had a fly swatter. I don't
know. They definitely had 1 or 2 of them. But We Don't Play. They played it perfectly. They stayed alive. They played well. They went up in that gravity lift. I think maybe they've got the better horizon. I don't know.
Wow. That is big words, to state. I mean, maybe they just got a better horizon. Dominus, what do you have to say about that? She's calling out Raymond. I mean, I think at the end of the day, there's some conversation to be had there. And I know Dominus is going to want to perform on this final game to prove not just Girl Wrong, but the rest of the lobby too. They will need a big game for sure, because it is now We Don't Play who take back-to-back W's. But started out with some nice play here. This moment had us on the edge of our seats. It's Throkey almost pulling off the unthinkable, getting away from Ammo Guanicus, but our Pathfinder friend, who's had a pretty nice solo performance today, will clean that one up. PM in as well. Constantly in fights, constantly winning fights. Haven't hit that upper echelon yet, but they have had a solid day.
Oh, they absolutely have. And these are 3-on-1 shots, just beaming, always connecting. One of the most popular guns as well. The R301, the flatline, are always used on the Horizon mains. Carnova, look at this, just staying alive. That's exactly what he needed to do. He was scratched. He's going to go for the armor swap. The gravity lift is kind of getting in his way. He's just up and down, up and down, up and down. But this TXC, can't believe they ended up going for that fight, but they ended up winning that one out. We Don't Play coming in with this 3v3 through the smokes. Wingman connecting, hard to hit with all of this smoke going around, but in the end, it's a 3v1. Nothing you can do about it there.
I mean, to be fair, Girl, he missed 4 times in the smoke and outside the smoke. So at the end of the day, maybe you just got to work on a wingman back there. Hey, if you need help, go to the firing range, go back to dropping in and see that last episode that I did with Girl, and just do what I did, okay? Because that'll help you in those 1v1 scenarios.
Hold on, man.
Oh, snap. All right, I got to move on here. Can't let her respond. Game 3, Game 4 goes to We Don't Play. Viper Squadron, they started off strong. VTXG Aura, big credit to them. Consistency. I told you, as long as they hold on to it, no one's catching them. It's not Viper Squadron, TXC, and We Don't Play. Only problem is We Don't Play, TXC, and Viper Squadron are the only teams that are catching them, and that's definitely happening again and again. But it's put them in a good spot, Girl. I mean, We Don't Play out to the races, but I would say 4th through 2nd, if any of those teams win, maybe not vying for 1st, but certainly can jump into the 2nd position here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if someone takes We Don't Play out early, though, see a little
that's true.
50-50 contest, then you're putting the tournament into your own hands. All right, but hey, I don't know if anyone's got the guts for that. TXC, maybe. TXC, they've been doing a lot of 50-50 contests, so if they know where We Don't Play land, and if We Don't Play continuously land there, maybe they land somewhere else. Because we know there's a few different POIs, and if they don't want to get targeted themselves, hey, I wouldn't even mind switching my POI at the end for the last game.
Hey, listen, I wouldn't mind either. We've got so many things coming up, but I want to make sure you all remember, where is this happening? Where is this originating? Where is it ending? It's PlayStation Tournaments. Compete.playstation.com. You go to that website, you will see all of the events running everywhere you can participate. The cash prizes that are involved for people like you watching who want to get involved in PlayStation Tournaments. Become a part of our community and our ecosystem here. Come do it. Be a part of this. We've had some great stories and great moments, and also know whenever the wild cards are happening, because we've changed a couple of the dates. We've got some adjustments. That'll keep you informed as well. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, the finale of our EU wildcard day 1 for our Masters Circuit and our Season 3 inaugural day coming up. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Master Circuit, the wild card day number 1 here for our start of our Season 3. We've had 2 incredible seasons of this, 2 grand finals, 2 winners hoisting trophies across 2 different regions, and so I guess double that since we have 2 winners total. So we're going to have a great time getting into the start of choosing our next one. Obviously, that will culminate later on in the year, but to kick things off, we have seen a continuation of sorts of the teams that have already performed, Grohl, and that set us up for this right here with We Don't Play Viper Squadron, VTXG Aura, and although they haven't won a game, TXC being in our top 4 and in the mix.
It's been a good round of games. We Don't Play has a pretty good advantage over the other teams right now, but if they do die off early, anything can happen. They can continuously stay alive and continue to rain on other teams. It's looking like they might get first place at the end of the day. We've got 1 game left remaining today. Unfortunately for our bottom teams, Hakim's been having a bad day. Unfortunately, they've been losing a lot of 50-50 contests or getting third-partied, but they're learning and they're going to get better for the next time around because this isn't the last tournament we're hosting. We've got plenty left to go through our other weeks as well. So this is just round 1, and we've got 1 last game. What is your biggest takeaway today, Rain Day, from the Broken Moon competitive games?
Great question, girl. My biggest takeaway is why did they let you wear a comfy sweater and I'm in a t-shirt and it's the winter. So I got to be cold and you can be warm and comfortable. Production, chat, can we figure this out, please, so we can even this out from a caster equality standpoint? Aside from that, I will say that I really like that the teams we've expected to perform have performed. And I think that's, to me, the sign of what these 2 seasons have done. They've cultivated a rivalry. Viper Squadrons, TXC, We Don't Play, and now VTXG Aura. We're seeing new teams come in and be parts of the conversations. We're seeing old rivals go head-to-head. There's nothing better in terms of Apex Legends or any type of esports competition. So for me, I'm just blessed that we've been gifted with a final that probably is going to come down to this very last game and who can perform.
Yeah, I wonder if people are going to play the exact same as they have been. We Don't Play. They've been very patient. They've been going at it steady. I don't see them changing course. But for the other teams, they've got a ways to go to get that first place if they're trying to go for that. Or they might be happy just maintaining that second place. Will TXC end up 50-50 our first place? We Don't Play? I don't know.
You know what I like too, girl? I mean, it's the I don't know what it is, but it's this element that naturally in broadcast and also naturally in, whether it's, let's talk about sports, right? You talk about the household names most often. You talk about the LeBron James, even if you don't watch basketball, these people are getting talked about, and if they perform well or not, they're still a topic of conversation. But it requires you doing something to get in that. And it's nice to see teams, yes, who have done it. We're going to bring up Viper and TXC because of their history. But how fast can you become a team that we've mentioned many, many times in a day and we have not mentioned before? VTXG Aura, we've talked about them every single game today. We've made points about their consistency. We've showcased, their players multiple times, and we've really highlighted their strategic kind of end zone locations that have allowed them to not fight too much, maybe not a great team fighting team, but still get a lot of things done to be in the position that they're in. So that is how close you are right now, whether you're in the bottom 10, bottom 17, in that middle pack, from being one of those 4 teams that is being at the tip of our tongues throughout this entire tournament, throughout this wild card season. So it's my challenge to the players who maybe aren't having the best day today. Think about what wild card 2 could do for you. Just one big day, and all of a sudden we're talking about you the same that we're talking about Viper Squadron. So kind of exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. One squad that might not be up there that I've been talking about personally is Legends of Apex. Mm-hmm. They've chosen another different comp. So they're playing everything here today. Instead of Ash, they've chosen Bangalore this game, so maybe they're learning from their opponents, thinking, hey, Bangalore smokes might be useful. The ultimate might also be useful. Maybe that's better than Ash. Maybe that's better than our new legend, Catalyst. So we'll see if that nets them any more points than they have had. It's a learning experience for some of these teams as well to stay consistent, figure out hey, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? Can we switch up a team composition? Can we get our fights better? Can we play around each other, play around our strengths? What can we do to proceed? But Terraformer, Promenade, south and north of it, still open for business. Breaker Wharf, though. Got a squad landing there, yeah.
Hakeem, is that Hakeem's? Who's that? No, that's Afghan.
Oh, Julian. So that's Legends of Apex.
Legends
in
of
Breaker
Apex.
Wharf.
There you go. So they are getting their first showcase there. We're seeing a 2-minute esport and actually Viper Squadron potentially fighting it at the station. And PMN also in a fight, but probably a lot more in terms of whether Viper Squadron can get involved and they're going to actually contest here. PMN, though, starting off pretty strong. They definitely want to end their day well. They have started it well. That's an early fight, running with the alternator. Nice at fire. That's what that weapon does, and that'll be an easy knock. No fra. See you later as PMN put 3 on the board.
Very good start for them. Atmos Station. This fight might begin shortly. 2-minute esports on the lower ground of it. Are they going to take those zip lines up? No, they're getting angled out off the bat. Oh, Nero goes down for free. Dominus taking a great angle with the Car SMG. Car is so incredibly strong. Actually, one of my favorite SMGs this season. 2-minute esport. They're going to try and take height back if they can. Throwkey, not quite sure where he's going here, but 2-minute esport, they do not get the connects as their opponent, Viper Squadron, takes that gravity lift, and they might end up going down for free. Let's take a look here. The shots are coming through. 45 flash. Can we hit those R9 shots? No, we're going to have to go for the reload. Oh, no, he's lost them. Can we get a revive here, though? Maybe switch Throwkey for our buddy Nero. Oh, no, and that's the great thing about playing Seer. Those cancellations. This is why everybody wants that legend nerf.
Amazing. Look at that cancel. Oh, you thought he was home free, girl, and nope. Right at the end, hits you with the focus of attention, and you just do not want to be the focus of Seer's attention. Let me tell you that, especially when you're trying to revive a teammate or pop a shield battery. Beautiful execution of what the ability does, giving that half-second cancel and the 2-second silence afterwards on abilities and actions. Just a really great legend, and you know why he's been such a dominant force. You saw it right there in perfect display.
Now, we haven't been able to talk about RGB too much today, but Crystal doing a great job getting this initial kill. Just 1 kill to their names, but they're all three gonna loot a death box. Now, I want to give some tips for the folks at home in a moment. King stepping down to 30 HP, getting a good crack there, color bucket, good angle. Can they chase that Wraith? She's phased out of the building. Color bucket. Not sure where he's going with this one. He's going to grapple up to his teammates to try and close the distance. The pings are coming through. The chase is going down. They don't have a Bloodhound, and they do not have a Seer, so they're basically going off by footsteps.
Well, that's obviously a very difficult thing, you know, when you have so much information on a team, and then you're obviously faced in a situation where you don't have information at all. You got to play differently. You got to play to your strengths too. High ground, mobility, those are the strengths of that squad. They're going to be very nimble, but they may not get the first shot. So they've got to be willing and ready on that. VTX, Giara, Azrael, Andre, Vertex. Really excited to watch them a little bit. Kind of see their play style here. You can look as round 1 is on its way of closing. We've lost 4 squads so far, but that's put us in a really interesting position with just backup Atmos, where Azrael and their squad has been hanging. And there's really not too many teams around there. So they will continue to do so. I expect a pretty decent finish from them. Top 5 placement would be a great start for their wildcard Master Circuit journey.
That's PMN's second team fight, so that's 6 skill points, I believe, coming in from them. Right after that, I know they're not in contention for first place, but hey, if they get enough points this game, second or third might be looking close. Oh, Shigum and Munchie, they're taking down a squad. TXC took down Team Raw on the kill feed. what I just noticed there. And we're almost in that top 10 mark already.
That is one of those things. It's just, it's crazy because the pace, you can never understand or get really clear on the pace of how a 6th game is going to go. Typically, what we see is people get aggressive. A few of the teams get aggressive because they've got nothing else to play for, and they really aren't in contest for any significant top spot or prizing. So we see that, and that could throw some irregularity, but we see these top teams either sometimes camp it out, be patiently aggressive, or we see them victims of some of this random aggression. Will that happen today? Will a team kind of all in, a Viper Squadron, and we don't play that maybe isn't in the right spot, and throw their tournament hopes of victory to the side? If we don't play fan, you certainly hope not. But so far, they are still alive, and they are 17 points ahead of their next competitor. So this is looking very, very good for them to hold on to first place.
Really like that we're highlighting Deja Vu. They haven't had the best games. They're even playing Gibraltar, my most favorite right now.
You love some Gibby.
Yeah, I love some Gibby today. I love some Gibby this season.
Wow.
I've had a change of heart. Bring Gibby back to the meta.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to get canceled for that one.
Oh, you are. You certainly are. It's okay. We're witnessing it live. You know, never had a chance to do it. Witness a live cancel in the Apex Legends community. Well, I've enjoyed my time without Gibby. I think Gibby's had a long time in the meta, girl. I think, you know, whenever he comes back, he'll come back, and I'll suffer it, just like I suffered through the Caustic meta, even though, you know, hey, sometimes it's fun to see something new, but probably my least favorite character to play. But all in due time, you know, I'm not going to rush this thing back. TXC, though, in trouble here. You talk about Perry. Will this be PMN, a team who has been very, very good at team fighting? Will they play spoiler to TXC's incredible day with the roster adjustment? Shugum coming in as the Pathfinder. There's going to be so much on the board for him. He's got to get the down. Doesn't quite do it. Will this be TXC going out? Oh, my God. PMN takes out TXC. And that was what they needed. It is now going to be up to Viper Squadron to earn maybe just one more point. And they will. It's Viper Squadron who comes into this fight. Oh, my God. And single-handedly, PMN's push takes out them and TXC, and it allows Viper Squadron to almost guarantee a second place.
Really depends on VTXG right now. I think they were the ones in 4th place.
Yep.
But Viper Squadron definitely surpassed TXC because both teams did have a tie at 3 kill points, I believe. So Viper Squadron now surpassing that tie, outplacing them, and getting a little bit more eliminations. So TXC might net themselves in 3rd or lower from what we've seen. Still 9 squads left, and VTXG, I'm trying to see. They are still alive near Alpha Base. They're playing the north end of the map. We don't play. They might actually end up being in a 3v3 near Stasis Array. Viper Squadron, they're just going to sit here, scout around. Oh, take a look at this. This is what I was talking about, the 3v3 near Stasis Array. There we go. Namka taking down Lloyd. And the stun.
Go ahead. I mean, I think this is just trouble, girl.
Yeah.
You know, you don't necessarily want to get into these engagements if you don't have to, but we don't play know that at this point, if you're already fighting, you've got to just go for it. You have to commit. There may be a third party that ends up showing up, and it could be VTXG. That would be the weirdest turn of events. But VTXG, we know how they like to play. They like to get into zone and hang there. They are playing a much more patient game, and so now we don't play, still alive, to the chagrin of many others like VTXG and Viper Squadron specifically. But it seems like they, from the Viper Squadron VTXG side, have found a very safe spot to hang into that zone. So they're going to find buildings outside of the core, and they're just going to wait it out. They will be playing this one a little safer, and we don't play, just also doing that, biding their time and saying, you know, let's push from stasis array when we can, once we get a full picture, you know, of this zone closing, because this will be a significant adjustment with round 2 firmly ending in about 1:10.
So right now, all I'm looking forward to seeing is how well VTXG can play out this game. Is we don't play, are they going to make it into the zone? They have a team right in front of them on the zip rails. Potential duo, actually, so this is going to be a good fight. We don't play, they're going to smoke off line of sight. That's going to enable them to push forward onto the building in a safe manner. Numka's going to pop the shield battery as his teammates go up on their own, and nope. This team did not want the 2v3 against We Don't Play, and I don't blame them.
They did not want it. It is definitely hard to blame it. This is a team that is rocking some serious confidence.
Let's head in that direction, darlings.
Takeaways from Broken Moon so far, from what I'm seeing, I mean, it does remind me a lot of how these fights take place on Stormpoint, girl. I mean, you mentioned it really at the outset of the day, but I am seeing a ton of Stormpoint similarities. Differences, you know, it's interesting. I feel like we're getting a decent amount of engagements that do run into each other. And that is one thing I kind of maybe didn't expect. It feels like teams, despite having what feels like open space, there are quite a bit of third parties here for what I think on paper looks like a bigger map. And I wonder if that's the zip rails. I wonder if that's just the way the chokes and the rotations work on this map. But maybe a little bit more interacting between multiple teams than I would have thought. Whereas maybe would have considered 1v1 isolated fights more of an opportunity here on a map this big.
Well, there's not many squads left for a map this big, but the north end of it.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh my! The north end though is unplayable. Roman, Afghan, and his squad have the best building, and that's Legends of Apex. I'm really happy to see them continuously improve thus far. Yeah, they're doing better and better each game, and that's honestly, no matter what level you're at, it's all about just improving that step by step, day by day. Improvement. Viper Squadron in this fight. Sweet Dreams was saying this the other day. He's like, I used to not be a good player, right?
Wow.
Now, you know, now I'm one of the best. You know, I used to not be good at the game. I used to not stream it. Started streaming, started improving. Hey, now look at me now. This could happen to any single one of these teams that we're watching, and that's the great thing about watching them qualify, watching them play in these finals. It's amazing to witness it firsthand, and watching the growth throughout this PlayStation Master Circuit, what the Master Circuit does for all of these teams. It allows them to grow, continuously get better in multiple different maps as well. That's the great thing about mimicking the map that is in ranked and in these tournaments, so that they can get practice and then apply that practice right in the tournaments here today. It's great to see. It's a great concept. Love the concept. We Don't Play. They've got the only southern building. They might end up in a fight there as well. Legends of Apex. I think they might be fighting Viper Squadron right now, which is one of our strongest teams, so I'm a little worried for them. But they do have the Crypto. They have the Bangalore.
You love to see it.
And they have Bloodhound. Love the Bloodhound Bangalore combo. We've seen that happen before. Bloodhound gets into the hunt mode, and then Bangalore smokes everything off. So Bloodhound, Bangalore definitely work well together.
Let's reposition here.
We Don't Play only have at least, I would say, maybe 1 to 2 kills. I think they did get a squad wipe, so let's give them 3. That would put them probably still about 16, 15 points ahead, period, of where Viper Squadron could be. Because I believe Viper Squadron have about 5 or 6 in terms of kill points. So let's say that comes down just a bit because they've got more kills. Now where are we at? 7 squads left. So they're getting a few points. Everyone's tied here. The difference between 7th and 1st, I think, is about 8 think it's about 8 points. So let's take that away. Let's say there's 16, 15. So now you've got 8 points that you've got to make up with kill differential. What does that mean? What happens now if Viper Squadron want to pull off one of the craziest wins we have seen, challenge their rivals We Don't Play, is we've got to see them take down We Don't Play instantly. That's got to happen because we cannot have We Don't Play and Viper Squadron go first and second. That's only a 3-point difference. They need to make up at least 5 or 6 on that. So they've got to get them out early. And of course, that's going to be difficult to do. It's going to be almost, you have to be a little lucky because they're not going to throw it away here. But then you've got to find a way. You've got to find a way, obviously, for to make it up in terms of kills. And that is going to probably be the most challenging thing. You've just got to find your way on kills. VTXG as well. They're in a good position to maybe get some kills too, but they've got to perform, and they've got to perform quickly. And without We Don't Play coming in and trying to steal and basically ruin the party in front of them, and Azrael finds Pain. They finish that one off. They secure the KP, but look at the spray from Namka. And of course, the Rolling Thunder. This should be a very tough spot for Azrael to get out of. Deja Vu goes down as we speak. Legends of Apex falling as well. So much chaos here in this final circle, girl.
Oh my goodness, and this is such a hard building to hold, right? There's so many layers, so many entryways. You might not know it 100%, but Julian ends up getting thirsted. Legends of Apex, I think, only have one left remaining ratting on the wall, on the outer wall here. VTXG, this is a big game for them. They cannot go down here for free. They're going to pop a shield battery, see if they can survive a little bit longer. But Azrael is getting beamed in the back. There's so many angles on them. Azrael's down to 1 HP. The zone's closing in. He might actually get this battery up. No, he doesn't. 4C with the charge rifle in the air, on the roof, just looking down and getting all these free shots. So Legend of Apex eliminated. VTXG, Ara was eliminated. 4 squads left to play this one out.
They've got to see if they can get rid of We Don't Play. I mean, now it's now or never. That is for sure. I think if you can secure a 3rd place, there is certainly no way Viper Squadron can make up those points. But with a 4th, maybe if they slay out and get 9 kills right here completely, Viper Squadron goes through all of the squads. Boy, oh boy.
It's possible.
I think it might be mathematically possible. I just think it's very, very unlikely, considering, you know, for every point that basically We Don't Play have, Viper Squadron almost have to get 2 to make up the difference.
Yeah, exactly. And this might be it here. Can they eliminate the squad? Because the other 2 squads, they're not all full teams. So if Viper Squadron can get a head-on-head fight with We Don't Play, they can surely get the remaining kills afterwards. So We Don't Play, they're doing a great job dodging Viper Squadron. Viper Squadron getting line of sight on them, but they don't want to misstep in the wrong direction and end up dying for free too. So they've got a lot of kills on their hands. They're looking for the rat. They see the rats.
Okay.
Oh no, they're gonna kill both.
That's big.
Yes, I told you they could get the remaining kills, but it's about We Don't Play. Can they kill them? But no, this is not good because We Don't Play get an extra placement point. They got to do it in the reverse,
that's
right?
That's right. It's the order because that is also something that they need. I don't think with We Don't Play having 4 kills, it's going to be enough, even if they have 12.
No,
but
I think it's too late.
Yeah, it's just probably too late. But you know, let's hold out hope, chat. Maybe there is an amazing thing that can occur. And you are going to be playing witness to it. Look at this Viper Squadron landing on the backside. This is rough, though. Are they going to be able to get up there? Oh, my God, they are. What a rotation. And now they're going to go from straight behind Viper Squadron. My goodness, that was fun to watch. I'm not sure it's going to get exactly what they need, but that was certainly fun to watch and a great idea. They lose Dominus and Twiggy in the process. It is just 4C. That's the kind of play that you need, though, because you've secured 2nd and you're just going for 1st, so why not try to hit a home run instead of landing an easy base hit? I love it. I appreciate it. But it seems like We Don't Play are going to come out at the end of the day on top in all ways. Apex Legends Master Circuit in day 1.
Crystal did a great job killing Twiggy as well. Crystal from RGB. Still in it. Managed to get themselves a kill. We Don't Play. They're still playing this safe. I'm not sure if they know it's just 2 solos left remaining, but they'll find out eventually. They're going to go on all in. 3 versus 1. Can the shots connect? He goes up into the air. Wingman shots are going to hit. Maybe no reg, one of them. Carnova should be able to finish this off with his squad. Hard to track mid-air with the Wingman. Tell you that. Kicking might be easier.
Absolutely.
Might be easier.
Anything might be easier. Just finish it up. Viper Squadron is out. There is a rolling barrage there to try to finish it off. Crystal, the only other member surviving. A 2nd place for Crystal. That certainly will be a consolation prize because, of course, we don't play are your champions, not just in game number 5, not just in game number 4, not just in game number 3, but on the day as your champions for year 3's first wild card here in our PlayStation tournament action.
Incredibly done. They knew they had the biggest lead of them all, but they still wanted to end the game on a dub, and they did it. It was all up to Viper Squadron to kind of take that away from them, but they couldn't. Unfortunately, they got shot in the back. Crystal ended up helping eliminate them as well, but we don't play consistent victories. They're definitely the team to beat next wildcard round.
And that's where my challenge steps in. I love what they did. Can they do it again? This is not about just going up for the money, just showing up to get qualified for the grand finals. This is about making a statement, increasing the competitive nature of this community, because y'all are going to get better as you play against each other week in and week out. If you take some time off and you show up and then you don't show up, you're not only hurting your consistency, and yes, life happens, yes, work happens, but you are hurting your opportunity to really continue the development of this league, because as you are playing at this level and all 3 or 4 of you are in this lobby, and I'm putting VTXG in there as well, then you have the rest of the lobby realizing this is actually the level we have to play at. This is what we have to do to get better. When the lobbies become easier, top teams aren't there, some things can pass by, girl. Then you can think, okay, yeah, we're good. We top 5 here. But if we don't play in Viper Squadron, we're in it, that you would have, bottom 20. That's not how you grow an ecosystem, and that's what we're doing here for PlayStation Tournament. So very, very exciting. I mean, big hats off to We Don't Play, girl. I mean, your takes on the day, because it was a heck of a day for them and many other teams.
It was a real pleasure to watch teams compete on Broken Moon. You get to witness it firsthand, like, hey, this might have been a mistake. Walking in this direction definitely might have been a mistake. It's really also awesome to watch teams improve along the way, and We Don't Play, love their team comp. Like I was saying, very aggressive team comp. The Bangalore, Horizon, Seer worked really well for them. They didn't even need to scan any beacons as they played Edge. Seemed like the Edge gameplay worked out well for most teams, but it was a change from their game number 1 where they played it safe. So once they got that confidence building over time, they ended up doing exactly what they needed to do to maintain first place. And it's been a wonderful day overall, Rain Day. I'm happy to pass it with you.
Oh, of course. It's always fun. And, we got more coming up. For those, just a little teaser, North America coming up in a couple hours after this. But Mr. Carnova, We Don't Play. Mr. Namka and Ramo Plays. We got to get a shout-out. Is it Rom Plays? Is it Rom with the X, meaning should be like an E, like Romeo Plays? Is it Rom XO Plays? You got to let us know, Rom. So give us the info, whether a DM to our producers or on Twitter, at Raina Gaming, at HeyGirl, and let us know. But look at that. I think it's pretty simple if you see that one, who's going to take the top spot.
Okay, so for our bottom 10, 2-Minute Esport almost made that 10th place. Red Fade, they'd done a really good job. They ended up getting 14 points, just not enough to make that top 10. Hakeem's, I think they're figuring it out still. They've ended up switching drop spots. Deja Vu also, they had a good last game there. They ended up getting some points. Legends of Apex switching their comms, trying to figure it out as well. Everyone has done a great job today, but now let's take a look at who's won and who's made our top 3.
Here it is. It is We Don't Play with not even a question. 90 points. They keep that exact 17-point lead they had over Viper Squadron. which shows you they won the game, and they took down Viper Squadron, and they took down the other squad, and they only had the exact same lead. If Viper Squadron had done that, they would have definitely shaved off and gotten close to probably about 8 points, I would have said, but it just wouldn't have been enough. TXC inch out over VTXG Aura, even though they made it into the top 5. Look at those placement points. I mean, that's the difference. 7 more placement points for VTXG Aura, but in terms of kills and elims, TXC, they got 15 points nearly every single game over the course of these 5 games because they fought off drop and they got those easy points. Will that be the difference? Will another team look at that and say, wow, we can't give TXC those types of points? I don't know, but I can't wait to see it in wildcard number 2, which I'll be at. Apex Legends Master Circuit wildcard qualifier number 1. That's happening in just a couple hours. We're about to go on break, and we'll be back for North America. Then we got our Madden 23 MUT Invitational. Big shout-outs to the Madden crew and fam. I don't know if we got RG or Scott Cole running that one like I saw my boys from over there. November 15th, 6 p.m. PT. We got the Rainbow Six Siege Invitational. November 17th, 2 p.m. as well. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate Fight Nights on November 18th, following up on that. And we got Dragon Ball FighterZ after the Thanksgiving holiday. They'll kick it off on the 28th with 6 p.m. PT Fight Nights. And then a Fortnite PlayStation Cup November 30th to round out the end of the year, or excuse me, of the month in November. What a special time to be around for PlayStation tournaments, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not involved, make sure you go to compete.playstation.com and get yourselves involved. Make sure you drop a follow on our social medias because we're always updating. We're always having a good time here at PlayStation. I'm letting my friends know. You should let your friends know. Let's grow this community out. Let's uplift each other and have a good rest of our year. And,
you know, a great sign, too, to help make that a really great year, not just for you, for other people. I want to mention that we've got Warrior Week going on, and it's a big deal. It's a 7-day live streaming event. It's benefiting the injured veterans whom WWP serves. I always trip up on that. Streamers come together in honor of Veterans Day to raise awareness and critical funds so that WWP can provide life-changing programs to wounded warriors and their families. If you want to register, check out the link. I believe it's down below. It's tiltify.com/WWP/Warrior Week. And 2022. So very, very excited for that. And we appreciate you all who have helped support. Big goal, but they're really close to raising it. And so we're really, really happy on that. Happy Veterans Day the other day as well. Big shout outs to everyone who served. And we really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your service. Hey, my name's Rain Day. I'm excited to be back. I'm taking lunch. I'm not going anywhere. She's taking lunch too. Or maybe she's not. She might be taking dinner. Girls over in Canada. So I don't know what timeline she's working on. But we're going to eat. We're going to take a break. We will be back for North America at 2 p.m. Do not go anywhere. Remember to see you there in just a few hours. And as always, never give up. Never stop gaming. We'll see you then.
information.